Hello and welcome back to Fate Grand Order. Tonight we're going to be heading to the Fey Roundtable domain. I'm Luce, your resident, legally distinct Fey creature, and I guess this is basically going to be like me going home. This also means I know very well what might be part of here. Technically speaking, I've been keeping spoilers to a minimum, but let's just say I know a lot more about old school Fey creatures than most, which is also why I'm not entirely sure how this is going to be playing out. Well, hello there, you with the still unknown fate. I trust you can hear me. Or perhaps hello again, Stargazer, would be more appropriate? Either way, it doesn't really matter. You're here now, and I don't have to be bored out of my skull anymore. So, will you hear what I have to say? I suppose it's less what I have to say exactly than than it is one of the many songs that the winds has carried to me. I shall speak now of a future, of the end of the Isle of Mystics, which came to be known as Fairyland. I'd make a Neopets reference, but I'm not sure how many would actually get the reference there. Technically, the site is still around, but it's been kind of abandoned for quite a while, I guess. Unfortunate, but that's just how it goes sometimes. Let the innocent return. Here stands the Queen's unknowable castle. Queen Titania? Or, depending on some, King Titania. It falls, like rain, like ash, it vanishes, like snow, like lies. Our desires languish, deferred. Even now, we dance in the palm of the Queen's hand. We require only a little more patience. After 2,000 years, the dawn will bring a child who will be our salvation. So, she shall be the child who saves the world, who binds people together. Even if her light begins as but an ember, even should no one else see it, she'll become a flame to draw moths. A city of iron, a sea of soot. When the calamity recedes, her pilgrimage begins. Chosen by the staff of selection, the Savior, guarded by travelers from afar, shall reach the throne. Staff, you say? The true king shall arrive at the throne. Accept now this bloodied crown. Ring, ring, like the raging thunder, like the weeping flame. Let us hearken to the 6-bell ringing. Blaze a path of the true king. Ere the red calamity catches us, ere the black calamity devours us. Indolent and derelict though we may be, we are scions of the free Fae. Never have we wished for anything, but still we desire a shining future. So, what'd you think? Takes its sweet time making its point, but you kinda get it, right? That's just how it is with prophecies. They don't make sense when you first hear them, but once events unfold, you know exactly what they mean. In that sense, they're a lot like a curse that fixed itself on your back before you even knew it was there. Well, they do say that one meets one's fate on the very path they take to avoid it. Well, looks like the scary lady found me. This is all I can do for now. Next time I see you will probably be after everything else is said and done. It's a shame I won't be able to help you fight, but I'm hugely relieved that I won't have to fear for my life. Uh, Merlin here is an ageless immortal in this universe, so that's kind of a big deal if even he's concerned. Alright then, I'll be waiting for you in the confined land. Until next time. Why do I get the sense he was basically running off while flipping me off? I don't know, just kind of the vibe I got from that. Is that a dream? Our character seems to have prophetic dreams pretty often. I wonder if our protagonist has narcolepsy. I swear we can't go 5 minutes before something goes to shit in this place. Testing, testing. Good morning, everyone. This is Scion. Time is now 7 a.m., and I'm very sorry to disturb you all during the precious quiet early morning hours. but I have an urgent message to relay to all Novum Chaldea staff. Well, that's us. There's been a change in the 6th Lostbelt. The emergency situation we predicted is now in progress. Please remain calm and come to the command room as soon as you are able. Oh crap, come on, foe. He just turned and left. That's interesting. He's never done that before. Usually he's pretty enthusiastic. Mash Kirlight! Referring to for duty. What's going on here, Master? Don't bother asking the Master, Kirlight. He and I both just got here ourselves, so we know as little as you. I don't even see my technical advisor or the captain anywhere. The only ones up here are that unflappable alchemist and... Good morning, my distinguished colleagues. I see by your healthy complexions that you all slept marvelously last night. Wonderful. I'd say this fulfills the first condition, would you, Miss San? Yes, I think so. It is very lucky you are all in such good health right now. Let's see, we have the Master and the Demi-Servant in the field op team. Renee, the pilot. Tomlin and Kawada, the operators. Octavia, Da Vinci's assistant. Chin, the vehicle mechanic. Cayenne, the munitions design engineer. Elron, the record keeper. Marcus, Spiritron engineer. Most of these characters don't have portraits, so $5, they're all dead by the end of this cutscene. And Gordolf, who was just enjoying a heaping plate of pancakes and a rather generous drizzling of honey. I see not one of you as much as batting an eye at this dire situation. Truly, you're all seasoned veterans. I would certainly hope so. The way Fate Grand Order works is that, in theory, the events are all occurring in real time. So if it's been about half a year since the last story chapter, the game has had about that much time passed since that story chapter as well. They made us plot reason for why we didn't go to the next Lostbelt immediately, of course. But now it seems the reason is no longer available. This will make it so much easier to tell you what's going on. Oh, I really don't like where this is going, but come on, let's hear it. What is going on already? I'm with Gordolf here. Does it have something to do with that searing red light flashing more gaudily than I've ever seen it flash before? Is there a fire in the kitchen now or something? Oh no, nothing like that. This is only a tiny planetary crisis that will eradicate us all in about 24 hours if we do not stop it. Yeah, that sounds about right for an emergency in this game. Eradication? Well, that is a much bigger deal than I was expecting. Wait, what did you just say? You Egyptian knee sock wearer? That is rather specific. It's very rude of me to boil people down their nationality, appearance, and or choice of apparel. I agree with that, but let's not get sidetracked right now. Director, Master, and all the other staff members are still grappling with this news. What exactly do you mean by a planetary crisis? I'm sorry, you're right. We do not have a lot of time to spare, so I'll be as forthright as I can. As you know, it's been about 3 weeks since the shock operation to eliminate Limbo. Oh, that's a bit sooner than... I did the Hinkyo where we managed to defeat the caster of Limbo, the last story chapter. I believe my VODs for it are still up on YouTube and Twitch if anyone's interested. I usually try and save those where possible. And although it's technically a side story unrelated to this one. In that time, Novum Chaldea has been tuning up the storm border and devising plans to attack the remaining Lostbelts. Yeah, that's right, there's only 2 left. That said, as I've told you before, I saw no need to infiltrate Britain, the site of the 6th Lostbelt. So I've been focusing my efforts on the 7th, where the Foreign God has been hiding out. The Foreign God is the main villain of this particular story arc. The Lostbelts are previously deleted timelines it has revived in the hopes of being able to manifest on Earth, which has technically already happened, and yet we're trying to figure out why it's in hiding in the 7th Lostbelt for some reason. Yes, I remember. You said we could leave the 6th Lostbelt to its own devices because, go on, tell her. It doesn't have a Tree of Emptiness anymore. Indeed, the Tree of Emptiness that helped establish the British Lostbelt was used to burn down the Tree of Emptiness in Olympus. As further proof, we have not observed any magical readings associated from the Tree of Emptiness coming from Britain since then. Yeah, the Tree of Emptiness is basically the core of the deleted timelines, keeping them in existence. Without them, they'll just vanish eventually. So, hence why it was probably safe to skip to the 7th, but I suppose we can't be so lucky. As such, the British Lostbelt should disappear on its own, much like the Chinese one did. Or so we thought. Right, the British Lostbelt may still be shrouded in a wall of light, but it's no longer a threat to humanity. At least that was our understanding. Is that not the case? No, it is. We're still keeping it under observation, but we did not consider it a threat. Not until this very moment, anyway. This is the Paper Moon's planetary observation grid, and these are the Shiba's predictions. According to this, the British Lostbelt will vanish in about 24 hours, and when it does, it will also engulf the rest of the planet like a lava tsunami. Oh, now this is starting to remind me of the Schwarzwelt from SMT Strange Journey. Earth will then crumble under the weight of its new gravity, utterly annihilating the planet. Since we're not talking about one of the foreign gods' pseudo-black holes, this could truly be the end of Earth. This will overwrite humanity's current bad ending, the bleached Earth phenomenon, with a complete dead end. Okay, but why is this happening? That we do not know, but know that we will. But we do know. But now that we know what will happen if left unchecked, we can ill afford to simply sit back and twiddle our thumbs. Da Vinci and Captain Nemo are on the storm border as we speak, getting ready to launch. Up until now, we've been using the shadow border to infiltrate these lost belts from void space, but this sudden development has left us without the time we need to prepare. Fortunately, we now have the storm border, which is capable of directly breaching. That's right, the shadow border got upgraded to the storm border due to the events of Lostbelt 5, Olympus. It's now capable of directly breaching the walls surrounding Lostbelt. As a battleship, the storm border is essentially our frontline base. While we'll still be conducting the on-site investigations with the shadow border, which is now effectively a, you know how the moon landing ship has the ship to actually travel the moon and then one of those vehicles to explore on it? That's basically what the shadow border is now. Basically an easier way to examine it from the bigger ship. Having a base you can always resupply and will be a tremendous asset. Furthermore, transmit is to categorize this phenomenon as a collapse. One could also call it a trap, or perhaps a pitfall. Then do you think Britain's going to cave in on itself? Or sink underwater? However, I can offer no definitive answer until we get there. Regardless, I suspect not even the foreign god herself has foreseen this turn of events. It's all well and good that Britain will disappear. Indeed, it's only expected now that its tree of emptiness is effectively dead. But if that disappearance is going to engulf the planet, it's only a matter of time. It is a matter we must investigate and resolve. After all, there would be no feasible way to restore Earth to its pre-bleach state if there's no Earth left to restore. Okay, I'm with you there, but what the hell can we do in only 24 hours? A lot, as a matter of fact. You see, that 24-hour period is an iron time frame. According to Shiba, time moves very differently within Lostbelt. Once inside the British Lostbelt, our time constraint will cease to be a concern. As long as you can resolve this while you're there, we shall be all set. That said, time is definitely still not on our side, which is why we're going to have to call in all Chaldea staff aboard the storm border and head to Britain as soon as we finish our final safety check. Then once you arrive at this wall of light, you'll use the storm border's dimension-piercing drill to breach it, and make your way into Britain, the 6th Lostbelt. Oh, well, I'm glad we're getting straight to the point here. This is absolutely one of those... I'd say it's one of those games, but no, this is one of those franchises that can dump you in walls of text, of lore. Well, that's all I had to say. As luck would have it, the shadow border just arrived. I know this mission sprung on you suddenly, but eventually we'll fill in on the details aboard the storm border. Careful out there, everyone. I cannot wait to hear what sort of fun hijinks you get into this time. You mean you're not coming? She hasn't yet, has she? Sorry, you are right. I did say the entire staff. I did phrase that as intended. Felt to be much too presumptuous to count a newcomer like myself. Please don't worry about me. I'm going to stay here and continue to monitor the 7th. Well, that's where the foreign god is using as a home base, so it's probably good to have someone keeping tabs on it. Do your best out there. I promise I'll do the same here. With that said, if you all blow this one, both I and the base will cease to exist in about 24 hours. So I'm counting on you more than ever. I'm not all worried, because I know you'll succeed. We will. You can count on it. Well, it wasn't quite as pressing a time frame as before. The others were absolutely a deal with them or else we're all dead situation. Attention all crew members. I repeat, attention all crew members. Oopsies. We've arrived at the waters near the British Lostbelt 2 hours after departing the Wandering Sea, just as we have expected. We're currently 200 kilometers north of the Isle of Britain. The Wall of Light looks to be a dimensional rift just like the world's end from the 6th Singularity. Thanks to Da Vinci and Professor's analysis, we've learned that's the thinnest on the southern side. So that's where we'll be heading. We'll begin the dimensional boring as soon as possible. I know it's dimensional boring as in boring a whole dimension, but it could also be taken as a very uninteresting dimension. We'll begin the operation in 45 minutes. All hands remain in your post till further notice. Well, wording is always pretty important. There you have it. We're going to begin the operation as soon as possible without any breaks. Stormboarder is a big ship after all, so it can't just slip into void space like the Shadow Border. But what it can do is use its massive propulsive force and magical energy barriers to withstand the dimensional friction that separates the worlds. Basically, it's a giant drill. Yeah, we're definitely doing the Star Trek thing where they explain it with the complicated stuff and then boil it down to a much simpler one. What we're going to do is fire the Stormboarder through that wall of light like a bullet. The impact will be just as strong as it is for Zero Seals, to make sure you're all in a calm state of mind. If you're confused, distraught, or terrified, your soul might not keep up with your body. Yes, I'm well aware. You mean that weird sensation when it feels like your chest and head are being stretched out like taffy, right? No need to worry about us. This is our first rodeo. More importantly, we do have a firm plan of action, correct? Because I don't even want to think about entering a Lostbelt with no strategy or goal. Of course we do. Don't worry, Gordy. We know exactly what it is we have to do. After all, we were always planning on going after the British Lostbelt at some point. Really? You were? I thought it was no longer a threat, at least till today. Right you are, but nonetheless, we're indeed making plans to explore it well before now. Well, we only have a few bits of information to work with the very moment. We do know that Beryl Gut remains in the British Lostbelt, and its king was able to launch an attack on Olympus's Tree of Emptiness. That means they were able to fight between multiple dimensions. What's more, this king was able to burn the very Tree of Emptiness required to sustain their Lostbelt. While it's still unclear whether Beryl tricked them into doing so, or they act with informed consent, what matters is they possess enough power to burn a Tree of Emptiness single-handedly. Not only that, it had to leave their Lostbelt dimension, then cross over into another, into the Olympus one. Ringo Miniad. Rongo Bongo. Ringo Miniad. A hugely powerful spell akin to divine punishment that was able to reach Olympus all the way from Britain. Now, it was in Greece because, well, it's Olympus. I think... No, it was in the Atlantic Ocean because it... Right, it was Atlantic, and then from Atlantic... Ugh! There's a reason people compare this franchise to Destiny in terms of overly complicated lore. But yeah, long story short, it even crossed dimensions pretty easily. And moreover, they used a power we are very familiar with. A mystic that surpassed even Kishtaria's ideal magecraft. That was Ringo Miniad, alright. It's a spell devised not by humans, but the inner sea of the planet itself. It would be a powerful weapon against the foreign god, which means it's something we desperately need. Planet's inner sea? What's that? Oh, that's basically the paradise of legend. Every mythology has some sort of promised eternal holy land, right? Utopia, Garden of Eden, land of young Tyr Nanog. Well, Britain's is called Avalon. It's supposed to be an otherworldly paradise that cannot be reached by other means. I think calling those all basically the same thing is kind of selling each and every one of them short, but whatever. It's also said to lie inside the planet, and that's where the souls of the stars go to sleep. Pretty much every clock tower mage has heard of it. I know I called it a legend, but that's not how people who actually see it think of it. There's some people out there who really might be able to get to the planet's inner sea. Oh, Clock Tower's got a department specifically for exploring it. That said, we're talking about places completely outside human comprehension. Once you get mixed up with something like that, you're practically already lost to a world outside our own. What are you saying, Manupaza? Are you talking about the underground workshop? They're just an ordinary archaeological team with a fancy name. Really, how can anyone take them seriously after they can proclaim they found Earth's belly button beneath Clock Tower? I may be something of a magecraft elitist, but even I would be too embarrassed to say something like that with a straight face. Damn, if we're quite done on our digression about the Mage Association and Clock Tower's inner politics, let's turn the subject at hand, will we? This is probably important to those who are familiar with stuff that's explored the Mage Association before, like the El Malloy case files. It's easy to forget, but Fate Grand Order is definitely a crossover of properties, so they try to reference as much as they possibly can. Now, we know the king of the British Lostbelt controls Ringo Miniad. We needed to investigate it and learn how it works. Indeed, the Ringo Miniad is the very reason we were already making plans to explore the British Lostbelt. While circumstances have forced us to act sooner than we might have hoped, we are always going to pay them a visit eventually. So then, Master's mission isn't just to investigate Lostbelt. While we do, of course, need to prevent the collapse that we were warned about by our high advanced supercomputer, securing Ringo Miniad is our top priority. As such, our ultimate goal for this Lost Belt is to negotiate with its king for it. You mean want to cut a deal with the Lost Belt King? Someone capable of essentially firing intercontinental? I think you mean interdimensional ballistic missiles at will? Yep. Honestly, I think it's pretty reckless even for us. I'd love to get my hands on Ringo Miniad, sure. Between the Storm Border, the Heroic Spirit System, and Black Barrel, I think we should be able to neutralize the so-called planet-level threat that the foreign god, planet-level threat like the foreign god if circumstances call for it. Scion was adamant we needed divine constructs, so here we are. Well, Ms. Scion is an Atlas alchemist. I've no doubt she has something unique in mind. And let's not forget, we wouldn't have the Nautilus or Storm Border if it weren't for her. So I, for one, am perfectly willing to go along with this plan of hers. Especially if it leads us to acquiring Ringo Miniad or something equivalent. Oh, don't you think you're just being a little overly optimistic here, Holmes? This could be the biggest burden we've asked the player for, you know? Does seem a little different from the others, yes. You'll have to continue this conversation later. We've almost reached the jumping point. Oh, thank goodness. Finally, we can get to the point here. All hands return to your post. Brace for space-time crossing impact. Oh, right. Sorry, Captain. Ah, crap. The wall's right in front of us. Sorry for not paying closer attention, Captain. Alright, I understand. I still don't like it, but at least I got the point of this mission now. Remember, this will not be like any of the other Lost Belts we've faced so far. Negotiation requires a careful, thoughtful approach, so try to keep your restless risk-taking no more than 30% of your usual antics. Good grief, it seems Gordolf beat me to the punch. As important as this mission may be, it should be within our ability to acquire this weapon. Fortunately, we have both knowledge and time on our side. Regardless of what sort of person we may be dealing with, as long as we take things one step at a time, we're sure to arrive at the truth eventually. Alright. The Master is strapped in and ready. Good. Professor, start the final safety check. Storm Border, initiate zero coding. Train engines 1, 2, and 3 all green. Drilling target calculated. Da Vinci will protect the ship's armor, while the Nemo series focus on maintaining our route. Computer room just gave us the all clear, Captain. We're looking at 99% chance of success. Dimensional piercing battleship Storm Border, move on out. Prepare to enter the 6th Lost Belt. Now let's just hope that 99% doesn't go the way of my tabletop rolls lately. That would be very embarrassing. The moment a planet is born. Origin point. What's this?
6月。日本では梅雨の季節ですね。小さなことからコツコツと。
Oh yeah, Lost Belt 6 is split into 3 parts technically, and the second one just came out. I'm taking my time with it, so I'm okay if I miss. It's gonna suck if I miss the same course, if so, that's just how it goes. But for now, I'm just taking it at my own pace. Alright, so this is just a pure story node. Beginning. Fancy. The fairies cherished freedom. The fairies guarded their love. In recompense, the children lost their world. Oh, guarded their love. Though it's destroyed over and over again, your Britain will ever prosper. Spring's sunrise, summer's quarrel, autumn's joy, and winter's battle. Death piled upon death to stand eternal. Be wary and never forget, no matter how sturdy the walls, a castle's foundation never changes. As the world took new form, the roots aged, and now, unseen and felt, the gnawing of the tiniest of insects shall bring all to ruin. Well, if you take out the bottom brick, you can have something fall down. Also, I did see what looked like some sort of dragon underneath. spirit or whatever it was. Huh? Was I just sleeping? Yes, you were. I think I lost consciousness for a moment too. What about all of you? Same here. It was kind of a dizzy feeling, I guess. Ooh. And my head's still kind of spacey too. I remember the captain declaring we'd broken through the wall, then nothing. On different note, why is it so dark in here now? Captain Sherlock Holmes? Not to worry, I'm still firmly seated in my chair. That aside, I can't say I'm in great condition at the moment. Both my mind and body are as heavy as lead. This must be what it's like to suffer from acute alcohol poisoning, at least based on what I've heard. You too, huh, Holmes? Same here. I feel like I've come down with a really bad cold. Apparently, all the Marines fainted. Nurse is bringing them to the infirmary now. Captain Nemo here, since he's normally a fictional character, he had to be, manifested in a special way, so his special ability is to split himself into copies to run the ship. So the Marines, the staff here, they're all copies of himself. Honestly, not even Engineer Baker managed to stay conscious. Oh, that's terrible, but why'd this happen? Allow me to explain. Da Vinci, you're okay? Of course, as you can see, I'm the same chipper Da Vinci as always. It's all because I was synced up to the border in the computer room. While you were all out cold, I studied the blade. I mean, I took care of things inside the ship and finished analyzing the outside atmosphere. Where should I begin? Probably with why you and Nemo aren't feeling like yourselves, huh? No, that's alright. The fact you and Miss Caroline are fine tells me everything I need to know. Think back to the Chinese Lostbelt. That was the Lostbelt 3. Sadly, before I started streaming. The chapters, I mean. The moment we encountered... No, it was before I started streaming at all, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah. Both Nemo and myself fell deeply under the weather. That must mean that no heroic spirit can function here. Or rather, no heroic spirit extracted from human history. And that, in turn, tells us human history simply does not exist here, am I correct? Woo! I should have known you'd figure it out fast. I just checked the spirit origin graph I transfer on the border, and it was completely shut down. There's not even a fragment of the base needed for heroic spirits from proper human history here. The Chinese Lost Belt's history had no need for heroic spirits, but I'm guessing heroic spirits simply don't exist in this Lost Belt's history at all. That's why heroic spirits from proper human histories like you guys can't set foot in the Isle of Britain. You're basically being attacked by the entire world since you never existed here in the first place. So there's essentially not enough foundation. Alright, so to break this down for anyone who doesn't understand it, hasn't followed this insanity, you know how in Futurama, things not from the correct timeline, the universe will simply try to correct it, either by getting rid of the temporal clone or whatever? That's basically the same rules apply here. Since its timeline does not have heroic spirits, it tries to delete them in order to make it work properly like it's supposed to. Take, say, Robin Hood. He should be able to exist in any Lost Belt, correct? He's so vaguely defined, it should only take a single skilled archer existing at some point in history, regardless of what their name might have actually been, for him to qualify. Yeah. So, servants are simply... yeah, like, our Robin Hood is simply a Robin Hood, not necessarily the Robin Hood, since the original one may have been a fictional character. Although that's hotly contestedly debated to this day. There's definitely been a lot of criminals since Robert Hood was a generic name for criminals in the same way John Doe is nowadays. But now, you're saying even conditions as vague as that don't exist here in the British Belt? You got it. That's a great example, Gordy. Well, you know, I have reached a point in my tenure as director where I've actually begun to enjoy reading the reports. I dare say I know even more about Lost Belts than the Master does, at least purely on an intellectual level. At any rate, I see now. So this history never contained so much as a single skilled archer. How the hell does that even work? These Lost Belts have still been around for over 2019 years, yes? So how could that much history and not a single historically significant figure? Yeah. Even ones from before the, AD or CE, whatever you want to call it, those still had plenty of heroic spirits there. Like, the one from Olympus basically had it so that the Greek gods simply never gave up control of humanity back to humans. So, there were still very important figures throughout the time there. It's just that the Greek gods were never left the world to humanity like they're supposed to. So yeah, feel free to consider the real timeline Zeus was the smart Zeus. They couldn't. Lostbelt or not, any path human history takes must fit within certain definitions. Any manner of human civilization must inevitably pass through a template of particular technological milestones. It's simply not possible for an animal species to propagate itself for over tens of thousands of years without its culture and an average quality of life meeting certain criteria. And naturally, over the course of that history, people will always branch out into various different occupations. Though the names may differ, there will inevitably be famed sword fighters, archers, spears, artisans, soldiers, kings, and, well, detectives. The lack of any such figures existing here must mean... Could that mean there's no humans here whatsoever? An excellent insight. Indeed, that would be the simplest explanation. But there's still other possibilities left to explore, so I'll do so later. Interesting. So basically, we stepped in here and humanity's already extinct. That's a little of a pisser, isn't it? I guess that explains it. As a quick reason, Lost Belts are... I mentioned Lost Belts are deleted timelines. The reason they're deleted is because there's simply not enough energy in all existence to sustain them all, and so any that are basically stagnated are simply erased for the sake of making sure the others can exist. If that seems oddly complicated, like I said, we're just scratching the surface here. Like I said, this franchise is often put on par with Destiny or Kingdom Hearts for complex lore. Or, well, to use a series I myself did on this channel, the Nier series, and by extension, Drakengard. It's a roller coaster, that's for sure. Hang on. Why are the technical advisor and MASH seemingly unaffected? In my case, it's probably because I'm a demi-servant. I do have Galahad's spirit origin, but I'm not actually him. Yep, pretty much. As me, I'm technically a homunculus of Leonardo da Vinci, not the original. Yeah. Sadly, the original Leonardo da Vinci sacrificed themselves to allow us to escape when our base was attacked at the start of the storyline, and the mini Da Vinci hero was a homunculus they left behind to save us. That said, I'm even more of a Leonardo genius than the original, so this might work out great. Oh, don't worry, that ego is absolutely accurate to the original. Then the only servants who'd be of any help with this are you and MASH. Seriously? You mean we can't even summon new ones on site? Since this place rejects any heroic spirits from human history, it seems unlikely we'll be able to bolster our forces in that way. If we want to increase our numbers, our only choice is to ask the people of this Lostbelt for help. And never mind that now. Can you tell us what happened the last 30 minutes, Da Vinci? That's going to be a bit difficult since, as you might guess, by correctly correcting the Lostbelt, we are erasing them again. Unfortunate, but, well, if it's your timeline or ours, can you really blame us for trying to survive? Sure, right after the storm border punched through the wall of light, the whole system went kaput. Every electronic device we had on board shut down, causing the storm border to just crash. Luckily, Nemo Engineer was able to use the last of her strength to get one engine back up and running. That in turn let the storm border break away from the island's airspace to make an emergency landing in the ocean to the southwest. That's where we are now. The generator's still out of commission though, so we're running on auxiliary power. That's why it's so dark in here. Not exactly the most auspicious start of the mission, huh? Yeah, the situation's not great, but hey, it's not like we haven't been in tight spots before. In fact, I'd say the fact we weren't attacked right off the bat and able to have this luxury chat makes us at least a little lucky. She's referring to how in the Lostbelt 5 Atlantis, we got attacked by Odysseus immediately upon entering because, very intelligently, he realized, holy shit, the player character's here. If we don't kill him, we're gonna die. And indeed, he was right. And he failed, so he died. Oh, so we haven't been attacked? Does this mean the king of this Lostbelt has yet to notice us? Can't say anything for sure there yet, but I think so, especially since we still haven't set foot on the Isle proper. The closer we get to it, the more things in the storm border stop working. But the good news is they're only stopped, not broken. I'm only guessing here, but if the storm border gets far enough away from the Isle, I think everything will start up working again. I can't believe I can't even get close to the mysterious island, so to speak, even with the Nautilus as its base. Still, as much as the situation's making me feel like a failure, I can at least confirm the storm border is intact. So if everything starts working again, once we put some distance between ourselves and the Isle, we'll know we have to secure our escape route out of this Lostbelt. Now I just have to figure out what comes next. The shadow border still work, Da Vinci? Unfortunately, no. We still have to use it as a ship to get to the shore. We can still use it as a ship to get to the shore, but I'm sure it'll stop working if it made land. So we can't use it either. Damn. What about comms, though? Will that still work on land? And again, I can't say for sure until we try, but given how everything else behaving, I wouldn't get your hopes up. I also would say that with how often the comms cut out while we're doing this, basically any event or story mission, I wouldn't rely on them either. Like with Star Trek, they always stop working the moment it would be convenient to the moment it would be too convenient to the plot for us to speak with someone. In the worst case, we may have to rely on more primitive means of communication. How are you with carrier pigeons, Holmes? The most interaction I've had with carrier pigeons was once when I unraveled a trick that relied on them. Of course, I could still use them just fine. Gotcha, I guess that makes me the expert then. Don't worry, I'll handle written correspondence side of things. One more thing, I need to tell you all how much time we have to work with. In its current state, we can say this keep the storm border powered for about 30 days. If we really stretch ourselves thin, we can last for about 50 days before the auxiliary power runs out. So that's our time limit. Once once the mission's complete, where did I get the word Daria from? Once the mission's complete, we'll move the storm border away from Britain and restart its engines. As soon as the engines are back online and generate stable supply, we'll break through the wall of light and leave the British Lostbelt. That about sums up. That good to you, Director? Right then, if the storm border can't get near land, well, that's our only course of action available. Starlight will accompany the Master as his bodyguard while he infiltrates the Isle of Britain. Once there, the two of them will carefully investigate the area and find the cause of the future collapse observed by Chaldea. If circumstances allow, they'll make contact with the Lost Belt's king and acquire Ringo Miniad. Rongo Bongo. During this operation, we expect communication with the storm border will be limited at best. Therefore, I'm empowering the two of you to make their own calls in the field, with the expectation they will return safe, sound, and successful within 40 or 45 days. You're just sending them too? There's no way they can pull this off alone. At least let me or Chin go along with them. Not that I'm eager to get myself killed out there, because I'm definitely not, but come on. Don't be daft, you fool. You're going alone would mean Kara needs to worry about keeping two people safe instead of one. He makes a good point. She may be an excellent servant, but she's still only one person. So if we still only have one servant to work with, I'm going to make damn sure she supports the Master to the best of her ability. Director Gorofa. Is that clear, you two? Then repeat our mission's objectives back to me. Yes, sir. My job is to assist the Master in investigations of the Lostbelt wherever they can. Don't worry, Mash and I will give it everything we got. Very good. You know, that wasn't actually repeating it back to me, but let's get this mission underway anyways. We only have 45 days to work with, after all. Britain is a big place. If I were you, I'd start by making the way to Oxford, then... I'm guessing those don't actually exist in this timeline, but I guess the locations would. What are you doing there, technical advisor? Is there a reason you're packing items into that rucksack? You need to ask. I'm going with them, obviously. Didn't say I would handle the written correspondence. So keep an eye out for my familiar, because that's how I'll show you letters from the feet. Say what? Oh yeah, she was unaffected, so... Well, that's at least one other person.
回避や無敵には回数制と単
Looks like we have ourselves a fight now. I'll admit that doesn't make sense. Alright, you have my permission to go with them, technical advisor. Okay, I can at least take you to shore. Take care of them for us, Da Vinci. And here we are, the Isle of Britain at last. Whoa, it's so foggy and warm. Alright, settle down. You've already taken out 5, so another strange land shouldn't be anything new to you. Well, it is, as a matter of fact. This is my first time being out on an adventure. You can't blame me for getting excited. Now go on, Captain. Head back to the storm border. You're having a hard enough time as it is out here, right? It's our job to investigate this area, so you can just sit around and grit your teeth until it's your turn. Fine, I guess you don't have to worry if you're in such good spirits anyway. Alright, you two, don't forget to take care of Da Vinci while you're out here on your mission. It wasn't much, but I got a brief glimpse of the place in the command room right before we lost consciousness. Everything ashore, east of the shore is shrouded in fog, but I was able to make out what looks like a city approximately 200 kilometers from here. Assuming nothing gets in your way, you three should be able to get there in about 2 or 3 days. That's where I'd start if I were you. I hate to ask you to trudge through this fog, but I don't see any way of getting around if we had time to spare. Don't worry, we'll be careful. We know we know what we're doing by now. I guess that's true. Alright, good luck out there. Can't wait to hear the good news. I finished checking our equipment, Master. Our survival kits are set. We have 90 days worth of rations. Great, you two can keep the food for yourselves. I don't get hungry as long as I have mana. Say, where's Foe? I don't see him with either of you. Foe never got on the storm border with us this time. I don't know why, but he basically bolted and hid. Really? That's too bad. He was always there with you on the journey to restore humanity, right? Man, I was looking forward to having the same experience by growing himself too. Maybe Foe just doesn't like Britain or something? Oh well, nothing we can do about it now. I'm sure they'll have the chance to travel together. Okay, so little Da Vinci doesn't know this. Only the protagonist does for that. Yeah, only Mash the protagonist know. Foe's true name is Cath Palug, a creature from Arthurian legend. However, it apparently gave up its sapience during the first story arc, so it shouldn't remember Britain at this point. It should just be a regular animal again. But it may, I guess it's possible it may be getting it back, or at least something about it is telling it to avoid here. Who knows? But I'm going to bet it's tied to that, and I'm not sure if, well, there's a spoiler for part 1, I don't know how it's going to tie in here, because like I said, circumstances are a lot different now. Absolutely, I'd love to go on an adventure with you, Holmes Director, and all the others together. Alright, well, let's get going. You said it. Next stop, a city about 200 kilometers to the east. Buckle up, because we got a long road ahead of us. Did we do, I can sense as well. What? What? I can't believe it, of all the luck. My first adventure ever, and I'm already hallucinating. Then you and Master are seeing this too, Da Vinci? I thought I was on edge, my eyes were playing tricks on me. Yeah, that's definitely Tristan, alright. Sir Tristan. Why are you acting like it's so strange for me to be here? This is making me very sad. I'll admit this certainly wasn't the most dramatic summoning. If anything, it felt as casual and automatic as a weathercock turning in response to the wind. Sorry, everyone. I have a report to make. My round shield is pulsating with the same warmth it typically does after conducting a summoning. Now that I think about it, there was a light surrounding MASH. Really, so I'm not hallucinating. You're right, his spirit origin's solid. Then it really is Sir Tristan, but how? I thought this place rejected all heroic spirits from proper human history. I see. It sounds as though you're not upset with me, but rather my summoning itself came as a surprise. Well, I can assure you that I didn't answer the summon of my own volition. One minute I wasn't here, the next I was. Of course, I'm a heroic spirit on humanity's side. I know about you and Chaldea. Aside from that, I don't know what's going on. Could someone please explain to me? And that's the whole story. We can't summon but you heroic spirits, but you summon here. Yeah. Heroic spirits, servants, are basically really powerful familiars, but they're not the actual historical figure or whatever they're based off of. They're simply a copy using them in the mind, using the, well, mind, more like data from a database that is outside of time and space, to keep it simple. We can't summon them, but you were summoned here anyway. Oh, I see. So this is a Lostbelt, a hypothetical version of Britain that would normally never exist. I don't know why it allowed me to be here any more than you do. But I suspect it has something to do with this being the Cornwall shore. I do have close ties to this land, after all. And while its history may be different, the land itself is still the same, I think. Yeah, a lot of concepts here, like home field advantage, do work. If a servant is in a place where they're from, or otherwise most well known, they do get a lot of bonuses and such. It's kept very vague, almost in a tabletop manner, now that I've had some tabletop experience. And I imagine that is not coincidence. By that I mean, it means they can keep things vague, so they can do whatever the hell they want without having to retcon too much. As with Destiny and Kingdom Hearts, this is a series that likes to bend rules a lot, but there's actually very little breaking of rules. Not to say it doesn't happen, it absolutely does, just not as much as you might think, so much as they just pull technicalities a lot. I forgot that Sir Tristan said to have been born in Cornwall. That must be why we were able to summon you, or perhaps the land itself needed your aid? It could also be the Master was nervous exploring a mysterious new land, so he ended up summoning Sir Tristan here unconsciously. Either way, having her will be a big help, and it bodes well for the future, too. Yeah, it does mean it's not as impossible to get more allies as we thought, although I'm kind of amused Tristan came, given I don't have him on my team. Like Arknights, this is a gacha game, so it's very RNG. Like Arknights, I try to manage my budget as much as possible to be sure I can get the ones I particularly want. Even if this Lostbelt is devoid of human heroes, we now know it's still possible to summon heroic spirits from proper human history with strong ties to a given proper area. Maybe we can summon Sir Gawain of Orkney, or even Camelot's King Arthur. We should summon King Arthur here directly. I'm not sure that's... No, you're right. That would be wonderful. And knowing him, I'm certain he'd be willing to help you. In the meantime, I'll of course be happy to offer whatever meager assistance I can. Any knights of the round would do the same. Master, I know that neither of us meant for the summoning to happen, but rest assured my bewitched bow is yours to command regardless. From here on, I, Tristan, the child of sadness, shall be your faithful servant. Now then, allow me to lead the way. I know the southwest corner of Britain like the back of my hand. There's a hilly area past the few mountains not far from here. With a little luck, we should be able to reach a higher road in about 2 hours, shall we, Master? Lead the way, Tristan. I'm gonna grab a sip of my drink real quick. One hour later. I hope they don't do the we're lost joke. Tristan, sorry to say this. Oh, damn it, I knew it! I'm pretty sure we're lost. We are not lost. Oh, wow, he opened his eyes for once. No, I don't blame you for feeling are, since you rely on your eyes so much. For the record, he usually only opens his eyes when using his Noble Phantasm, his ultimate moves. But I can assure you, we're indeed making progress. In fact, we've covered no less than 4 kilometers by now. The only downside is we somehow haven't been able to escape the shore yet. If Sir Bedivere was here now, he'd happily say, "Don't worry about it, Tristan, you just go to sleep. I'll lead the way from here." And we are lost, I knew it. Also, I doubt Bedivere would be any happier about this than we are. Yes, I suppose you're right about that. This makes me sad. If Sir Bedivere would only be straight with me, I would have happily played him an encouraging song. I have the feeling that'd only make him mad. Anyway, this isn't looking good. Perhaps the fog's to blame. Been laying down bowstrings to make sure we don't get turned around. But at some point, the string trail keeps going cold, and not because someone's cutting it. It's because I've been letting go of them myself. It's almost like I keep forgetting what I've been meant to do just an hour ago. There we go. Master, I'm detecting high density magic signatures. I can tell you any more than that without analysis, but they're attacking us. Get ready to engage. Be on your guard. Up to 4 from your party. Oh boy, it's forcing me to put them up there. Well, it says I'm forced to have MASH in the lineup. And of course she's in the less popular Ortonax outfit. Sigh. Don't know, but if they're divine, this might help a bit. If not, well, let's see here. Enemies are sabers, casters, berserkers. That is a very annoying split, therefore I will bring my own berserker. As I was saying when I played Grande, you can never have too many berserkers lying around. And for the record, I absolutely love this alternate costume. It is adorable. I guess if all else fails, I could bring Sherlock. Yeah, this is fine. No, NP strength doesn't do anything for someone with support NP. Alright, if he's gonna solo... guess that's fine. This is good enough if we don't win. I'm pretty sure the enemies here are specifically designed to die to Tristan and Da Vinci anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Mysterious black creature. Wait, 2 break bars. Strength up, Fey. Deals damage, increased damage against Fey creatures. Well, balls, I'm a Fey creature. Inflicts curse on a single enemy. But break bars, or... to the surprise of no one's... Alright, so for those who are just watching this from Arcanites, this game is a more standard RPG setup, and as you can see, enemies can have multiple HP bars, but usually that's a boss exclusive thing. Interesting.
前に出ます。ふむふむ。
Alright.
照準。捉えました。芸術とはこのさ。
Something about Orton Axe is causing trouble. Unusable. Black Barrel. Oh. That was what we got in Lostbelt. Whatever.
前に出ます。はい。オッケー。
Alright, let's use the blue cards to charge their ultimates here.
吠えても無駄です。せーの。よろしい。オッケー。そこだ。
Alright, get a break bar going here. Oh, they all lost a break bar from that. So if I focus down one, they all take damage? Starting to buff up. Gonna have to make this quicker. Oh. That was a resisted attack.
内熱衝撃装填します。ああ、とても楽しかったとも。キラキラしてる。
What is the overcharge effect here? Increase arts card.
以前のような新事前が
Let's do it this way then.
早く早く。オルテナウス。私の宝具いじり見たいのかい？
This should make it easier.
神明凍結展開。これは多くの道。
Alright, defense buff up.
幻想の城。こうせよ。モールだ。困難を乗り越える。その少佐を今示そう。ビューティフルジャーニー。さあ、行けるとこまで行ってみよう。行くよ。
Shared guilt. Oh dear.
ごめんなさい、先輩。
That one's the weakest, so Tristan's gonna have to focus on it. We'll use Beautiful Journey again, just to be safe. As long as one dies, it looks like they all do, so that should be good for me.
So, 君たちはあらゆる困難を乗り越える。その少佐を今示そう。ビューティフルジャーニー。さあ、行けるとこまで行ってみよう。 このアングルバッチリ。よっとデリシャスなのだな。
I believe this should do the trick.
ふわっと。というわけで皆の話だ。最後にお昼休み7時くり。Good morning。
勝てぬと分かれば立ち上がる必要などないでしょう。
Did we get them? Oh man, they're way stronger than I was expecting. Were those British ghosts or something? I guess we managed to drive them away since they're gone now, but it doesn't feel like we actually beat them at all. I have to agree, their sheer vitality was astonishing. I don't think those were ghosts at all. They were unusual, so steeped in mystics, they almost seemed like... No, never mind, not that now. For the time being, I must commend you on a job well done. I swear, whenever someone goes, wait, could that be? Nah, I'll... Don't worry about it. It turns out to be, oh, if you had mentioned this earlier, we could have saved a lot of pain. I was concerned when you said you couldn't summon heroic spirits in Britain, so it's a great relief to see it's still possible to summon them temporarily for battle. Yeah, I'm glad it really worked out, too. It did leave me tired, though. Yep, I was watching. You're definitely using much more magical energy than usual. So we'll need to try and avoid fighting as much as possible, since you need to convert your own vitality. Magical energy. Oh no. Ash, is something wrong? The Black Barrel. No, the whole Orton axe. It's not working anymore. Mash, are you okay, Mash? Mash, you alright? Did something happen to them? I can sense them close by. No, they're getting further away. This is not good. It's too easy to get separated in this fog. Let me call. What were their names? Wait, what is my name? Oh, even his title vanished. You with the red hair. Oh no, I know. I have some idea what's going on here. What was I do again? No, wait. Wait, who am I? Now we have a dream for the next event. It will be a blatant meme, followed by a... Oh, wait, it wasn't a meme. The bad guy was a threat, then goes back to being a meme. Oh, here I thought I might arrive early. Guess I took my sweet time. Well, you can't blame me for that. These are my very first guests. It's only right to look your best for guests. Besides, I'd say this boy and his companions made a pretty big mistake too. I mean, no one in the right mind would ever think to go into the nameless woods without any protection. I guess this goes to show how brave this master, don't you think, Blanca? Moth. I'm really going to trust these outsiders? Well, yes, I'll trust them with all my soul. Sure, I had my suspicions up until I saw them in person, but now I can tell. They're the real deal. As crazy as it sounds, they're dead serious about saving the world. Oh yes, I'm definitely glad I waited for them now. That's right, Blanca. It's finally time for me to get serious as well. Seems we've got a few local fairies here. 1, 2, 3. It's a couple too many for me. Fortunately, it looks like they're good-natured sorts. I'm sure they'll rescue the Chaldeans. Meantime, I'll make my way back for now. Save our faithful encounter for another time. Good luck, Chaldean lad. I suggest you start by getting familiar with Britain's ambience. Oh, one more very important thing. Whatever you do, don't let anyone know you're human. Yeah, you don't want a fairy to dislike you, but you also don't want them to find you intriguing enough they want to
6月
do anything.
日
Because I can
本
tell you
で
right
は
now,
梅
that's
雨が
going to
慣れ
end
た頃
badly no matter what. Am I still getting this stuff? The beginning. We're still in the beginning. Ash. Hey, the protagonist remembers her name. Ash. Yeah, he still remembers. Hmm. I'd make a joke about the Lost Woods without protection, but the thing is, when it comes to Fae, you absolutely don't want to even consider anything like that, no matter how attractive a character might be. Oh goodness, you're awake. You seem to be injured, and I don't think your life's in any danger. But if you're hurting anywhere, please let me know. I still have a lot to learn, but I can at least perform basic first aid. Hey, you're... no, she's not MASH. Oh, right, we lost our memory, so we can't remember. Oh, right, that doesn't sound like it's my name. Phew, goodness, I was having trouble remembering who I am, too. My name is Mash. I like it. Short, soft, unique. And hey, if you know my name, we must be friends. I knew it. Good morning, Lysander. Do you know where you are right now? Where am I? Lysander? Your name is Lysander, right? I mean, it's on your tag. Apparently, you collapsed in the Nameless Woods. Do you know the Nameless Woods? The fog here is so thick that as soon as you step foot in here, you can never find your way back. Whoever gave the protagonist a fake name actually might well have saved their life. This is a game universe where true names do in fact have power, but even outside of that, even in old Fae legends, giving them your name is one thing you must absolutely never do. So you absolutely must give an alias. Basically, don't touch anything, don't eat anything, don't have sex with anything, and be sure to have an alias. Do not give your true name to anything. And don't accept free food or anything like that, no matter how good it looks, because that can count as accepting a deal. As I said, this is something I'm very familiar with, and something mortals are very bad at picking up on. Fog is so thick in there that as soon as you set foot inside, you never find your way back in. The more lost you get, the more you forget, and eventually you won't even remember your name or even who you are. Basically, it's a force of no return, one of the most dangerous Fey domains of all Britain. I wonder what it is we're doing in a place like that. Maybe something nasty happened to us. You know, like when everyone at your table orders ginger ale, but for some reason you end up getting salt water. It's no use, I can't remember anything. Sander, what's wrong? Why are you holding your head like that? Oh no, did you hit your head in the woods? A concussion? Fractured skull? No, it's nothing like that. I suspect he simply doesn't know who he is. Not just himself. I doubt he remembers you or anything else about this place. I certainly can't. One thing I remember is that I serve him loyally. Even now, I know I would have no qualms laying my life to keep his safe. It's no good, can't remember. Well, what's good is that the good thing is that our knight buddy's loyalty is so powerful, not even Fey magic can screw with it, and that's very, very valuable. Never trade that for anything, my friend. Oh, please don't strain yourself, my lord. I'm Isolde best in class. Isolde best in class. No, wait, that's not. Isolde. Isolde. Some now Tristram. I'm sure of it. See, it's right here in the Old English. Tag made from a leaf. Obviously proud. Tristram. I can barely make it out. And we now know that you're Lysander, Tristram, and she's Mash. His poor misspelling, again, it may have actually saved him. The thing about Fey magic is not even the fairies themselves are immune, so do be careful. So even our quote-quote to Mash here would be at risk without proper safeguards. I can say with absolute certainty, with absolute confidence, we three are trusted companions who wound up stranded together. Super proud. Yeah, that must be it. High five. Huh, glad we remembered that. What's Oldie English? What's Ye Olde English? So we don't know who we are, we can't remember where we came from. We do know there's something important we need to do, and we've entered the Nameless Woods to accomplish it in spite of risks. I thought we were on a shore, but maybe it was a forest. Well, I guess that counts as close enough. Correct. The only other things we know are that among my colleagues, I'm a peerless genius, masterful poet, and peerless archer. Sorry, I can't tell you more. I see, so he doesn't know anything at all. What about you, Mash? Well, it's pretty much the same for me as is. I feel like I lost a lot of belongings. At any rate, what I do know is that we're all collapsed in the Nameless Woods and some fairies from this village found us, brought us here. So the next question is, why did they do that? Are they slave traders? I think I've heard that's a big problem these days. Oh man, I don't want to think about it. If that's what the village is for. Hello, are you all awake now? Oh, I'm sorry if I startled you. I heard voices, so... Anyway, the others I said should come fetch you all. I mean, it's gonna be night soon, so you know. Know this person, Lysander? I don't think so, no. I see. It's any hostile intentions. She seems to be a good-hearted person to me. She looks like a fairy from a fairy tale. Can you still not move? In that case, we can talk later. Oh, but if I go back without you, everyone will scold me for being useless again. Oh, are you talking about the other fairies in this village? Don't worry, you can go back ahead of us. We'll be right there as soon as we're done talking. We'll be sure to tell the others you were the one who fetched us. Not that I was much... Really, it was useful this time. Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you so much. Please come to Town Square when you're ready. Everyone else is there. See you there. Well, shall we see what's outside then? Yes, I guess we should. I'm still concerned, but it doesn't look like staying here will help anything. Besides, no matter what they ask us, we can honestly say we don't remember a single thing. So at least we shouldn't be suspected of being from a bad city or supporting the wrong queen or anything like that. The wrong queen. For the record, yeah, old school fae creatures do consider elves to be among them. Animalistic fairy. Alright, why do I keep forgetting to do this? And for the record, yeah, I do try to set to automatic, but it doesn't shift for some reason. I don't know why. I have to do it manually. These are the ones that almost die in the woods. Go there. I've never seen humanoids without wings before. I swear, what's the Wind Clan coming to these days? Haha. I mean, you don't have wings either. And some fairy. Yeah, it's probably an elf. Please don't lump us in with the likes of them. These Fae don't have as much of a hint of wing stumps. They must be criminals who had their wings torn off as a punishment. They probably came here trying to escape to Darlington. Start fairy. What the heck? Just look at their twiggy little limbs. The only thing that would be good for is firewood. Maybe we want to chop them up and make a fire out of them. Brighten the night up. Dark fairy tale kind of world. Well, I'd say more like old school. The concept of fairies being playful and mischievous is, well, the idea of them being benevolent with it is a relatively new concept. In reality, they're more like true neutral. They can do basically whatever fancies. Although, let's see here. Grab him. Hold on, let's see what they have to say first. That's our rule, after all. You there? What's your clan? What city do you hail from? What is it you came to Cornwall to escape? I'm afraid we really can't tell you. The only thing we know is our names. We don't know where we came from, why we came here, what our goal was. You're kidding me. You don't even know which city you are from. I haven't even got a goal, eh? Oh, damn, that's awful. It's terrible. It just ain't right. I was hoping we could get a nice ransom out of them. Guess there's one left to do with them now. Indeed, now things have come to this. Only one thing to do. Have to look after ourselves. You hear that? We got new friends. Hey. New friends. Celebration. We're a bunch of nameless, worthless failures without anywhere else to live. We've been strung up, pelted with rocks, and before we knew, we found ourselves here on the tippy tip of the isle. Nobody likes us. We'll all be gone by tomorrow. Even the queen herself won't come to the nameless woods we call home. So welcome, comrades, to Cornwall, the dead-end village. You guys have had a hard life. You've already suffered enough, right? If we're all a bunch of burnouts anyway, might as well kick back, relax, and enjoy life here. Well, I suppose that's one way to solve it. Huh. Oh, I don't think I can eat another bite here. I can't believe the party they threw is still going in the night. These fairs are nice. I was also surprised to see what you're a good conversationist list you are, Lysander. You seem a little unsure of yourself at first when you started talking to fairies the Wind and Earth clan without any hesitation. Even though everyone in Fairy Britain knows you're supposed to pick a side with Fairy Britain. You forgot about that too, really. It's gonna be a problem. The nameless woods only make you forget yourself. You should be able to remember customs you know to survive. At least that's what I've heard. What about you, Tristram? Do you remember anything about Fairy Britain, Land of the Fae? I guess you're in the same boat as Lysander, then. Alright, I'll catch you two up. I don't know a great deal about the world, but I've been taught the basics. Alright, everyone, please, quiet. Time to end today's festivities. I know how you'll feel, but there's nothing we can do about nightfall. We'll have to resume the welcome party tomorrow. Oh, I guess it just goes to show how time flies when you're having fun. Alright, everyone, let's head to our homes. Later, Faye, a few words for Strum. See the roof over there? That tent's yours. Go ahead and hide out there till the morning. You there, show Lysandra companions are dwelling, won't you? Better hurry it up, and knowing her, you'll just get even more injured if you take your time. Yeah, don't get carried away and taken in any side paths. Got it? If you do that, no one will be able to find you guys once night gets here. Yes, I know, I'll be fine. Thank you for giving me this job. If you follow me, everyone, I'll show you back the tent that's your territory. The way that was phrased concerns me. Well, good night. Don't worry, the tent may be a ways from the town square, but still well within the village. I promise you'll be able to relax and sleep without any forest animals coming in. I just realized we never got her name. I'm sure you're both tired of talking with so many fairies. I think we should finish our conversation from earlier before we go to sleep. Probably a good idea. And I imagine if we got her name, it would mostly... Well, I guess even an alias can be useful. Because just something to call you can be considered something of yours, after all. I think we should finish our conversation. Fairy Britain, as you can probably tell by the name's Land of the Fae. You know that much, right? Yeah, more or less. I guess I should at least roll with it there. Good. Well, next we have different kinds of fairies. It would take hours to go into the details to differentiate the various kinds of fairies. We're not going to get the Alfheim arc from Sword Art Online, are we? Please tell me we aren't. So for now, let's focus on broader clans. The clans represent the Land of Fae's different races. There's the Wind Clan, Earth Clan, Fang Clan, Wing Clan, Mirror Clan, and King Clan. Members of the Winds, like Halibron and Mia, are humanoid fairies look like humans, basically. They're all very rational and peaceful. They have excellent Fae markings. Members of the Earth Clan, like Onfam, are solid, stout, stocky humanoids. They're the hardest working, so we need their help to make roads and buildings. Members of the Fang Clan, like Doga, are basically wolves that live as one with the land. They love to fight, and they're very good at it. It's even said that we Fae folk wouldn't be here today if it weren't for the Fang clans fighting for us. As for Wing and Mirror, there aren't many rumors about the Wing clan, so I don't know much about them. And the Mirror clan used to be the most popular clan in all of Britain, but then a few years ago they kind of disappeared along with their entire city. And what about this so-called King clan? Is that where the monarchy family is from? You really want to know, Liz? The King clan's the biggest bunch of good-for-nothings in all the land. The only thing they ever make is trouble. Even though there's only one of them left, she looks down her nose at all the others, like she's so much better than us. I mean, who goes around bragging to a sweet country girl about how great their life is in the big city? She's getting angry. Then there's the flamboyant clothes. All those are servants, all so cool for the plan for her future. Note to self, do not mention the King clan around MASH ever again. Sorry, that may not have been entirely fair. Please forget I said anything. Yeah, it sounds like she has a bit too personal of experience to properly give an explanation about them. Although, if what she said that there's only one left is true, then I guess it's not one we have to worry about then. It's just the person within it that is important. The King clan's kind of a special case. There's only really one of them, but she's kind of a protective queen bee type who welcomes anyone who serves her as a King clan member in their own right. If you ever had the misfortune of meeting her yourself one day, you'll see what I mean. It's pretty obvious to anyone with eyes. Everything about her, from the way she looks, the way she acts, just screams, yikes, she's a real piece of work, I better not make eye contact, she'll ruin my life. On a different subject, are you okay, Tristram? You've seen me on edge for a while now. That's because I am. No, it wouldn't be a stretch to say I'm outright afraid. I haven't had a moment's rest since we went to the town square. Villagers may have seemed weak, even feeble to the two of you. While I lack my memories, I do know they are to be feared, or merely by dint of being Fae folk. Even that Fae girl that showed us the way of the square holds some manner of mystic power. They may not have said anything about it, but they have powers far beyond any mere human. Just remember, it would be an easy thing for these fairies to slaughter us if they decided to do so. Ah, how terrifying. Well, I have heard a saying once that the brave and the cowardly both fear the same things. The only thing that's different is how they react to the situation. And indeed, Tristram acting cool but warning everyone is very much a case of, we have to be careful. Very much something someone brave would do. Be aware of the threat, but don't let it overtake your mind, is what I'm getting. Because if you let it take over, you'll just make more mistakes. That actually is advice I've gotten from when I was playing chess. Well, yeah, long story short, it's basically one of those things. It's good to be aware of a threat, but don't focus on it. Don't obsess over it. I guess you must have served the military at some point, Tristram. I can't even imagine two fairies fighting each other. Maybe I could see it for one of the the soldiers who the queen in the castle. But I was taught the fairies always resolve the differences through peaceful discussion, no matter what they may be. Yeah, that is something. Fae creatures are bound by rules and laws. They are not allowed to break them. Well, I suppose there might be occasional eccentric exception to the rule. But there isn't a single fairy at that square who disliked us. You may be right. I certainly didn't sense any hostility. Of course, they're not dangerous. It's also peaceful. It's hard to forgive us. No more prayers. Close your eyes. There's not much fun left. The veil has fallen. Extinguish the light. The day is ending. Farewell. This day too will end forever. Forgive us our sins. It's too late to do anything now, but make sure everything's cleaned up. Looks like it's time for lights out now. Let's pick this back up tomorrow. I hate to do anything to upset them after they've been welcoming to us. Sounds good. Fine with me. How about you, Tristram? Nods quietly. I see, this must be it. Oh wow, it's one of those new glass lamps that are all the rage right now. Must be an Earth Fairy clan or two from Norwich here. I'll have to track them down tomorrow. I guess this must be one of those societies that's so reliant on magic that they don't have very much technology. Yeah, progress. Well, they do say necessity is the mother of all invention. There's no need to invent phones if you already have magic that allows you to communicate with someone telepathically, right? I do know that is explicitly something that can affect technological progress. I've heard it brought up on as an example on occasion, although I forget from where. But I keep in mind because it's a good example. It's also why, I was kind of worried when I first woke up, but I'm so glad you two turned out to be good people. Same here. Good fight match. Oh, why'd you stop? What, you didn't feel right saying it? I see. Must be a very important name to you. It's okay, Lysander, these things happen. Good night, for real this time. I forgot what I was saying. Whoops.
6月日本では
Don't worry.
梅雨の
Knowing me and
シー
how
ズン
I
が
always function, I'll remember what I was saying like 10 minutes after I finish streaming, because that's how it always works. We don't know what kind of... This takes place in roughly 2019. Good morning, everyone. I've been asked to show you around the village today. Our territory's not that big, though, so it won't take very long. Cornwall's built on the remains of an ancient city. When the Tamlin defeated the Lord of Cornwall about 100 years ago, the Lord crossed the worlds with a fog that would rob the fairies of their memories. Oh yes, this is something I did know going in. The Tamlin is what they chose to have the English translation for the Fairy Knights. I can kind of get why they did that. In fact, hands on the table here. The Legend of Tamlin is one of the origins for my Fae Self's story origin. So yeah, the story is they might go into it in the story, so I'll keep it brief. But basically, well, yeah, I should wait until in case the story does it. If not, I can give it myself. It's not a very long story if you're giving an abridged setup of it. This village was abandoned not long after. From there, it became the most dangerous area in all of Britain. Even the Queen wouldn't come near it. Nobody would follow you here. It's basically a penal colony. Alright, who are the Tamlin exactly? Good one. This territory is home for all kinds of fairy outcasts. Fae whose roles have ended, who aren't worth anything anymore. Fae who've lost their friends, lost their purpose. All we can do now is wait for our lives, our fates, to come to an end. Every fairy here is so kind. They'd much rather help each other than compete with one another. But this isn't a place for fae like that in Her Majesty's Britain. Dying is much better than having members of your own land laugh at you, ignore you, or steal. So everyone came here as forced to end things, or at least that's what I think. I don't know what to say. Hey, it's Lysander. Yesterday was a blast, huh? Anyone enjoys a good meal as much as you do is alright in my book. Hope you're hungry, because I'll be bringing plenty more food back with me today. Good day, Lysander. I must say, your voice is warm and full of life as the spring breeze. Why don't you try hands at a song? I'll break out my hop for the first time in ages. Hey, Lysander, let me know if you need any of your clothes mended. I also got a cloth from Norwich left over, and I'm sure you'd look good whenever I whip up. Bewildered at the difference in treatment. You certainly are popular. I mean, I'm much the same boat myself. It's alright, MASH. For some reason, every single person we summon seems to immediately love us for whatever reason. I guess our character must have min-maxed into charisma or something. I guess you must have that certain je ne sais quoi? Wait, you're telling me that even in this alternate timeline, the French language still exists? Right, I'm supposed to be a fairy from totally not France. Yay? I'm kind of oblivious when it comes to that sort of thing, so... Really, I think you're perfectly wonderful too, Mash. Sandra just has a refreshing aura. His presence alone makes things more fun. But your aura's warm, bright, not sure what the right word is. I can only say there's something nostalgic. Reminds me more of peaceful times. Yeah, you're spot on. As a matter of fact, my cheerful nature is the only thing I've got going for me. I've made a long point to keep smiling, no matter what circumstances might be. Thank you so much. That's true, there's nothing better than a smile. Alright, let me show you around the rest of the village. As long as you know how big our territory is, you won't disappear until the day of endings. I don't like that title. Usually when a title's that specific. Well, that's our village's territory. Is there anything else you'd like to know? The nameless woods fog never comes to this village, right? How thick is it outside the village walls? Also, if this used to be a city, does that mean there's a road back inland? The fog isn't too thick as long as you don't go too deep in the woods, but that won't stop you from getting lost. And the road back is completely overgrown, so it's all but impossible to find. I see, I guess we'll really need to put minds to it if we ever want to leave, then. Oh, you want to leave, Mash? Oh, not at all. I was just kind of curious, honestly. You don't want to leave either, right, Lysander? I mean, you came in the woods of your own volition. I'm not sure. I have no idea what's going on, honestly. I see. That makes sense to me. I had a feeling you three were a little different from the other Fae who come here. I was even wondering if maybe you'd actually end up lost here by mistake somehow. If there's anything you ever need, let me know. I'm not much good for anything besides showing fairies around, but I promise I'll help however I can, as long as it doesn't get me in trouble. Man, she's an outcast among outcasts. That's gotta feel horrible. Okay, I think I've got the lay of the land now. Now it's just the three of us, so we shall get to it. Shall we get to it? Get to what? You're an incredible jokester, aren't you? What can we be talking about besides testing skills? Oh, come on. Let's head out the forest a bit and discuss how good we are, what tactics we excel at. Magecraft's power is A. If you don't use it, you lose it. I see, she wants to practice her magic to be sure it's okay. Well, the good news is our character is a bona fide mage, even if not a particularly good one.
Yeah, hi.
I don't like that. Oh, it still has Tristram and Mash listed there. I love that. You can barely see Tristram's name, but you can see Mash, which is fine. Alright, Tristram, we're going to have you use a... I could go with a pure... Yeah, let's do this, just to weaken down here. The Noble Phantasm should instantly kill that one on the side, and then we'll be left there. as well give this to Tristan since he has 2 arts cards. That might be good for it. And let's see. I guess this will be fine.
はい。
Might as well stick to the Brave Chain here to make sure
我が
Tristan...
大人前で
Alright, this should finish off the other one and take out the other. And I'll grab a sip of my drink while I'm waiting for the animation to play out.
そこだとひねり潰します
ありがとうございます。皆さんのおかげです。
Excellent. Battle finish. Sara's so useless. Not at all, I just feel terrible about this. You basically have no fighting ability, must have come from such a high social standing, you don't even need to do your fighting, so... My gosh. Are you the son of one of the clan chiefs? And here I've been treating you like anyone else. I'm so sorry, you must think I have no manners at all. If you forget this happened, I'll promise to do better starting tomorrow. It's okay, I'm just sorry I couldn't fight out on the front line with you. Please don't worry about Lysander, if anything, I'm more convinced than ever. I can't remember why, but now I know for sure this is what you're meant to do. This is what you're meant to do. May have been so intimidated by the fairy's sheer physical abilities last night I didn't act appropriately, but that won't happen again. I see now you have the markings of a great leader, like a winning football coach. I even have the sense as long as you're here to guide us, everything will somehow work in the end. So, despite losing his memory, Tristan knows what football coach is. And for the record, he could easily... It doesn't matter whether he's referring to American football or soccer, the European football. Either way, there's coaches for that, you know? So, I think that should be fine. Wow, thanks, Isweld, best in class. Please, call me Tristram. That's right, we're outcasts. Bunch of losers who couldn't even pay the annual existence tax to keep us in the Queen's reign. Wait, you have to pay a tax in order to keep existing? You know what? I'm starting to see why MASH doesn't like her very much. It was just a matter of time till we decided to come in these woods and forget everything we ever wanted to accomplish. Oh, but don't worry, there's no need to be afraid. We may have escaped from this city, but we're all still in the same boat. Soon the calamity will bring everything to an end, and only few will survive. We may as well live this for days in peace. We all of us from 6 different clans live for festivities. Are we just going to skip over that calamity thing that they just, you know, brought up out of nowhere? Hello, Pixel, welcome to the stream. We have entered the fairy world of Britain. And sadly, our protagonist is not nearly enough to survive in here. So it's going to be amusing seeing just how many of these obvious tricks they fall for. We're all singing in unison now. Although it seems we've already fallen for one major one. What a lovely song. A simple tempo, to be sure, but there's something to be strangely invigorating about it. I would think it was improvised if they didn't seem so familiar with it. Of course they are. These kinds of festivals where everyone comes together are what all Fae live for. My boy, this is what all Fae live for. It's the only time the Wind and Earth clans set aside their differences. Well, as long as I don't drink too much anyway. There's some fairies who do get drunk on the atmosphere, I guess. What? Had enough already, Lysander? No need to hold back. You just got here. Or was the journey here harder than we thought? Those markings on your hand are unusual, but they're still command spells. And 3 of them, you poor thing. Don't worry, you can forget all about that now. No one here is going to force you to do anything. Oh, interesting. Are command spells supposed to be for people being commanded rather than for commanding others here? You did good hanging there till now, especially for one as twiggy as you are. Am I crying? But why? Come on, you don't need to get weepy on me. No, it's okay. Just take as much time to rest as you need. When you get bored, you can help us with village things. What a kind fairy, all the command spells. I'm this close to remembering something, but I can't quite get there. It's very frustrating. Oh, I know exactly how that feels when it's on the tip of your tongue and you just can't figure it out. How's the CC for you so far? Surprisingly easy. I might post up something about it on Twitter after this stream, actually, because I did get a couple screenshots. Yeah, rest assured I was able to get a strategy with Ebonholes going, so that was fun. Alright, everyone's sitting down, and that's all for tonight. I can definitely tell what time it is because I'm not drunk. Nope, definitely no drunkenness here. Now go on, time to get back to our tents before the beasts come out. Don't blame me if you end up getting eaten alive. Mom, Thania, Dumbleton. We Winfei clan can make it back quicker than anyone, and the responsibility of keeping order falls to us the most beautiful. I see how Hello Boromir is just as much of an ass drunk as he is sober. Yeah, that's how elves can often be. Alright, let's get back home so we can be ready for tomorrow's feast. Later, Sander. Oh, I'll have you show around the athletic field. Nothing more fun than a good ball game. I guess that's all for today's welcome party, though it sounds like it'll pick back up tomorrow. Indeed, now that I understand, you've truly been welcome with open arms. I'm enjoying myself quite a lot. Even though you still haven't relaxed your grip on the, bow? Yes, well, it seems old habits do die hard. Apparently I used to keep my fingers on my bowstrings even when I was asleep. Probably not a bad idea if we're completely honest. I swear, keeping my ears peeled and reading the wind, I guess I must really love training. Oh well, I'm sure any habit can be broken eventually, especially since we shouldn't have to fight here. Honestly, I think Tristan's got the right of it, actually. Oh, congrats, Pixel. I could probably have gotten higher, but honestly, I kind of wanted it over with if we're blunt. I definitely could have pushed a bit further than I did, though. Now, come on, Lysander, Mash. We should head back to our own tent. I wonder if the alias name changes if you actually named yourself Lysander. Hey, you, make sure you can clean this place thoroughly. We're doing this again tomorrow, remember? Yes, sir, I'll clean up after everyone, right? Of course I do, idiot. What else could I have meant? Can't do anything on your own. Sorry, I promise to do my best. Hold on, was that... Never mind that, Lysander. Let's head to the tent. We're still outsiders here. We should get a grasp on the situation before Poker knows other business. You wouldn't want someone you barely know telling you how to live your life, right? Even if all Fae who live here are peaceful, we're still not in a very strong position. Got nowhere to run if anything goes wrong. So we need to be extra cautious here. You know that, right? Yeah, I guess you're right. Great, we can ask about it tomorrow. I'm sure whatever seems off will make sense once we talk with them about it. Yeah, honestly, she's really got the good point of it. Seems a bit cruel, but...
6月日本では
Oh, I forgot to do weeklies. I'll worry about those later. Good morning, Lysander. Did you sleep well last... Sorry, I can't put my heart into it. Lysander, something about that name just doesn't sound right. It's still a mess out here. What the hell were you doing, you good for nothing? I came from the square. You see what's going on, Lysander? I suppose we should now that we're waking up. I mean, that is a loud noise. We can say we've been woken up. This is awful. We can't possibly put on another feast tonight. Why didn't you do anything? You ate Lysander? Not at all. I forgot what I was supposed to do. Next thing I know is morning, and you were all yelling at me. It happened to her again, Doga. I guess we're sorry out of luck. Forget it. We should have known better than asking in the first place. Just get lost. Don't come back near the village. I want to see your stupid face again. Billy, thank you for giving me. I hope you'll invite me to the next one, too. Hey, Lysander, you sure was a hoot, huh? Who was that fairy girl? Oh, that Fae? Hey, what was her name again? How shall I know? I mean, she told us... Damn, what was it again? She told us when she first showed up. I'm pretty sure it was... Ho or Fu or something like that. Is that what it was? I guess she had a name at first, too. Once you start forgetting your name even without the fog, you're pretty much done for. Don't bother with her. You don't want to catch her nameless disease. So she doesn't have a name? Is that why you treat her like that? What do you mean? No fairy without a name is worth anything, right? It's not like anyone would miss them if they were gone. Yeah, she doesn't even have a place here. Her tent's outside the village. Our territory doesn't have room to spare for her, but I'm impressed she's still alive. She might be more banged up, but she's still got all her arms and legs. Who knows, maybe she used to be some kind of big shot. Not that's doing her much good now. Guess not even the beasts of the forest have interest in nameless meat. Anyway, enough about her. Come on, Lysander. Told you you're gonna play football at noon, right? To the athletic field. What would you like to do now they've left the athletic field? Do you know anything about nameless fairies, Mash? I do. As the name suggests, they're fairies who have lost their names. Well, we lost our memories. Sometimes fairies lose their names all on their own. In general, fairies don't age or die like humans or animals. But we are born with a purpose, something we can lose ourselves in. Fairies who lose that purpose lose their names and grow steadily weaker until they die. That's what happened to that girl. It must have been some time ago, quite some time ago she lost her name. So it's true she doesn't really have a home here. I'm sure it is. Fairies tend to shun fairies who've lost their names. Honestly, the fact she's even allowed in the village speaks volumes about these fairies' generosity. I know what you're thinking, but we can't. If we invite her to stay in our tent, it'll upset the fairies of the village. The best we can do is visit her home and get rid of anything that might be dangerous. We may not be able to invite her to the village where it's safe. I'd be happy to at least make her home just as safe as a village. I can think of one way we might be able to help, but it would probably just be a stopgap. I knew you'd come through, Mash. Why are you holding my hand? Oh, you're shaking my hand to express gratitude and faith in me. That's a new one. There's something really nice about it. I like this custom too, Lysander. Oh crap, she's already under attack. There. I've driven the beast back and opened up a space for the girl. I still want my bewitched bow. I won't let them take another step toward her. Thank you, Tristram. I'll take it from here. Just basic wolves, and of course they're riders. Why do they insist on giving class advantage? I don't... Well, whatever. That's a powerful battery, but it's gonna take some time. Let's see. I guess I can just use this. I need to use on the first one up here. We'll use this to power him up, and this should fail not should kill the first one. Oh, I can't use my skill. I guess I've forgotten how to use my mystic code as well, my outfit. Interesting, they're not dying, they're just getting sent back. Alright, I think this should handle it. Alright. Even basic wolves are a huge threat while we're powered down like this. Cool though it may be, I made sure to aim for spots that would be extra painful. Hopefully that will teach the other beasts this part of the forest is dangerous. I agree, that seems like the best way to go. At any rate, that was amazing shooting. Are you sure you don't remember being a soldier or a hunter? Either way, the king you used to serve must have been proud to have you. Yes, well, I certainly hope so. That's weird, I can't sense any magical energy when he plucks his harp. Does that mean he's from the Wind Clan? But then, he doesn't seem to have enough magical energy for that. Anyways, we managed to drive them off. Are you okay? Oh, what's going on? Did you do that for me? We did. Lysander insisted on checking up on you. Are you alright? Did those beasts hurt you before we got here? Oh no, I'm fine. I'm used to that sort of thing. So, is there something more I can do for you? I already showed you around the village yesterday. Oh, right, I should have thought of something before coming here. Yeah, that... Sorry to say, this probably would have happened to me. That's for sure. That's something that sounds like something that would happen to me, sure. That I'd go there before thinking of something. I want to thank you for all your help yesterday. You're so kind to us. We thought the least we could do is make your home safe from beasts. That's nice of you. It makes me happy. I guess this means I was really useful then. Happy to hear that. It's been so long since I was useful. Oh, I know. I'll bless you with good fortune in return for... Sorry, I forgot how to cast blessings. Interesting. Not only are our wings damaged, but it looks like the color is going away from them. Yeah, I don't think it's supposed to go from blue to brown like that. I think it's supposed to be kind of like the color is fading away from our wings. That's okay, we don't need anything else. I don't have a 10, so I can't give you anything really. Did I already give you some flowers and just forget? Sandra, Tristan, why don't you go back to the village without me? I'm gonna put up a bounded field, but this is gonna take some time. Oh, we'll stay here until you're done as well. Those beasts come back at any time, so we can protect you while you put it up. No, it's okay, I can handle the beasts alone if it comes to that. Well, if you're sure, it's alright with you. If you say so, Ash. Although they are rider class, so they do have class advantage. I see you two later, have fun with the other fairies. They're all done. You don't have to worry about beasts coming to help, coming to attack you here anymore. At least for a few weeks. It's only Magecraft, not Sacrament. It won't last forever. At least for those, you'll be able to rest easy. Magecraft, the mysterious power the Queen uses. I didn't know you could use it too, Mash. Is using Magecraft the hot new thing in the outside world? I don't know about that. I mean, half my Magecraft is stuff I kind of taught myself. Besides, that's kind of why I ran away in the first place. I mean, me save Britain with Magecraft like this? That's just not possible. Mash, I'm so sorry if I ask something I shouldn't have. Don't be. That was just a bad habit of mine. You're not the reason I was feeling sad just now, so do me a favor and forget about it, please. More importantly, I think it might be better if you moved away from that village. It's not the other fairy's fault necessarily, you're just not a good fit for it. What about Salisbury? Oh wait, they're very hostile to wind fairies with damaged wings. Norwich, they say fairies and humans live side by side there. Who knows, you could find a human's a good fit for you, maybe you'll find a new purpose as well. Thank you, but I'd rather stay here. Even if I do find a new purpose, I wouldn't have a name. I think I must be exhausted, nothing ever goes right for me. No matter what I do or what help I receive. I must have been so despondent with myself I even forgot the most important thing of all, my name. So I don't need to go anywhere. Here nobody will be angry at my old self. Here nobody will blame me for being a terrible fairy who wasted her life unable to fulfill her purpose. But I am really sad. Not because the other fairies in the village hate me, because I can't remember my purpose, any of my name. See, I guess not having a name really is a terrible thing. In that case, how about this? Can't put with the idea right now, but... I think I know what she was doing. Thank you, Mash. This is the happiest I've ever been in my life. Come now, you're just being nice. I see, then I'm happy you're happy. Still, don't forget this is our little secret. If the villagers find out, we'll both get in trouble. Ah, this might have been what I was alluding to earlier when I thought might work as a stopgap. We'll find out shortly. If it's not, I'll explain what I was thinking of. I'm sure they'll say something even a village of outcasts has rules, or Cornwall doesn't need any weird made-up customs. That's true, you might not know by looking at him, but Hound Boromir actually used to be aide to Lady Aurora. Even now, he still admires the elegant fairy way of life. I like that about him. I feel the same way. He might act high and mighty, we can tell right away he really cares about the village. Oh gosh, I didn't realize we'd been talking for so long, I better get back. I'll come again tomorrow, right? In the meantime, enjoy a peaceful night's sleep. See you, Mash. Goodbye. Ow, what happened? Why is my right eye hurt? The polys from mirror. Ah, see, so I've turned dark. Guess I'm done for now. Just when something finally worked out for me, too. Hmm. If she did do what I was thinking of, then yeah, it seems the deterioration can't be fixed in that way. That's kind of frustrating, but that's just how it goes, unfortunately. As I said, Fey folk are bound by rules and laws. Even they are not able to alter them. Good morning. Morning. Maybe ashamed to not have a banquet, but there's upside. We got to bed earlier. So what would you like to do today? If you don't have anything particular in mind, I'd like to go outside the village again myself. First, I need some food. Hungry. Good morning, Sandra. Sorry we couldn't give you a welcome you deserved last night. Fortunately, we should be able to make up for it tonight. Hope you're looking forward to it. Something wrong? You don't seem like yourself. Sorry, I didn't have anything to eat yesterday, so I'm getting hungry. Hungry because you didn't have anything to eat? How ridiculous. Needing. Like you're human or are you serious? I believe I never thought such a thing could be possible. Hello, Boromia? Everyone, big news. Lysander's human. We have an unregistered human. Come on, it's really for this nonsense. There's no way a human be here. I'm not joking. It's not that his wings were torn off. He's never had them to begin with. Hurry, we can't let him get to the woods. Goodness, I feel terrible. If only I'd realized sooner. I'm more sorry we didn't count the welcome you deserve. But don't worry, we're gonna make it for it now with a really fun welcome party. What a wonderful day that is. If you sense the atmosphere just changed, yes. I know precisely what's going on here. Call it Fey intuition. Oh, wow, you're right. Human, no wonder being around it made us all happy. This is great. Now we'll never have to worry about turning to Moors. Why do I get the sense I'm in trouble? Almost forgot, Lysander. If you tell them you're hungry... I'm too late. Thanks a lot, Mash. You couldn't have said that just 5 minutes sooner. We could have avoided this. Human 2, you don't have wings or command spells. No, I have command spells. Those are obvious. How about the guy with the human? Is he human? Nah, no wait, he's a fairy, yeah. That's right, he didn't eat anything, but who cares? Put him with the others. Here, please let me show you the best spot in town. From now on, you'll be staying in a tent at Town Square, right in the middle. Oh, there's so much to do, I don't know where to begin. Well, it's been half a day since we were packed in this tent without so much of a word of explanation. How's the food they're bringing you every hour? Fear there's too much of it. At least they're being, nice to us. We're not allowed to go out. There's fairies guarding the tent in shifts. This isn't a welcome party. We are prisoners. You know why this happened to Smash? Because Lysander's human. Think about it now. I was a little surprised how much you enjoyed that fruit. I should have realized it then, but I haven't seen many humans either. Are you a fairy, Mash? I'm not entirely sure, actually. I think I'm a fairy, but I've also been called human-like at one time or another. But never mind that. Right now we need to focus on the situation at hand. But I think they're giving Lysander a warm reception now, but that's only going to heat up as time goes on. Really, even more than this. Yes, you see, humans are very important sources of sustenance for fairies. Just having a human nearby makes them happier, almost like a mental balm. But these days, the human population is carefully managed by the Queen, leaving lower class fairies without any humans for themselves. In fact, the fairies of this village wound up here because they didn't have any humans, so, nothing else to take good care of you, but... humans in the village. And not a defective one for the Rebel Army, a one's made for the Queen, real high quality humans. This is great. We have to keep them safe so they don't get hurt. We'll have to figure out what they eat. They say you can't just give them nuts and fruit. They like meat, right? We can hunt some meat. Man, I'm so jealous of the guards. Can't wait till my turn. I want to be near them. I want to make them laugh uncomfortable, make them cry, comb hair, pull off their fingers, skim alive. But there's only 2 of them. No fair that... Ah, 2 of them! So yeah, it seems that even though Mash doesn't know, it seems they can tell she is, somehow. We'll never all get a piece of them that way. I know I'm gonna miss out. Yeah, we should just chop them in pieces and share with everyone. I'll take the left eye, you can have the right. Yeah, I'll take the ring finger, you take the middle one. Yay, that way everyone each gets a piece. Hey, what do you guys think you're doing? It's not your turn yet. Go back to your tents. Don't try anything with a sander. You should have seen him on the athletic field. He used his head to score a goal. His head. I've never seen anyone play football like that. Okay, so yeah, it is soccer. He really is an entertaining as long as he's around, we're gonna have more fun than we've ever... Talk too much, Doga. We don't need talkers. We can't help ourselves. There's only 2. Only 2. Let's chop and share them. Chop and share. We're the only ones who are gonna get a share. Fang Clan's getting them all themselves. The wind and earth talk too much. Let's get them before they get us. Ah, the dangers of being popular. Is that fighting? I guess we turned into Japanese idols when we weren't looking. I'm not sure exactly why, but the fairies seem to be fighting amongst themselves now. I suspect it has something to do with different clans wanting to keep you themselves. That's the why isn't important, however. You're obviously not safe. We need to leave. But what about the guards? Let's head out inland. Once we get through this village, we can make our way to the hilly area. And there's a highway. Once we get there, we can think about where to go next. But first, we need to do something about the guards. Unfortunately, I doubt you and I alone will be any match for them. Remember, these fairy are all very powerful. There's no way an ordinary human could. Oh, good, you're okay. Thank goodness. I know something was off in the village, so I've been keeping an eye on things from afar. It's awful here. First, everyone's yelling at each other, now they started fighting. Calabrone was doing his best to calm everyone, but I don't think it worked. Oh, keep an eye on things near the tent. Don't let anyone near it. I know we killed all the Wind Clan monsters, but still some fangs out there. Ain't no way. Hey, we're letting those veggie lovers take the humans away from us. Gotta divide them up among the Earth Clan. On, fam. It's no use, Lysander. They're not the fairies you knew anymore. They've been driven wild by bloodlust. Come with me, and get you through the week stitching through the cloth where I snuck in. You didn't want to get out to the woods, right? Please, trust me, I know way inland. Those are EarthClan fairies. They look nothing like they used to. Ah, this saddens me. What do you see now but the devil? Stop that, Tristram. You can't play your harp. They'll hear us. Did you just hear something? Maybe one of the Wind Clan bastards survived. Kelsey, Gom, go check it out. The rest of us head for the tent. Crush their legs. I'll keep them from running. Oh crap, we gotta get out of here now. I'm so sorry. My fingers moved before I realized what I was doing. Anyways, yes, let's get out of the village. I'll bring up the rear. Everyone, please follow me. Huff, huff. Yes, this is it. Once you cross these 3 hills, you'll be far enough inland. Are you okay? No, think we'd be running nonstop? It's okay. I'm well managing. Indeed, there are 2 fairies after us, but it seems we lost them after we crossed the first hill. They must have gotten lost in the fog. I guess all the time you spent living outside the forest must have paid off. Thank you for showing us the way. You've been a huge help. But are you sure about this? Now that you've helped us, doesn't that mean you can never go back? Yes, it does. But please don't worry about that, Mash. My home is safe now, thanks to you. Now please, don't worry about me. You need to leave the forest as soon as possible. Go quickly before the villagers find you. I have more distance between you and them. Are you okay? You're breathing really hard. And what's that mark on your face? Am I? I see, we're almost there now. Ah, I can smell the wind now, like the good old Salisbury earth. Soon we'll be out of the woods, not much longer. Ah, beautiful Britain, you haven't changed. You're just as when I remember from when I had my name. Just a little more. I see a slope up ahead. That must be the last hill. Once we cross it, we're out of the woods. Thank you. We can never make this far with... What's wrong? Ah! Oh my gosh, you okay? Are you hurt? Why don't we take a little... Shut up. Just shut up. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. It hurts. It hurts so damn much. Whatever is affecting her must be in its terminal stage at this point. I've been hurting all these hundreds of years I've spent alone. They keep forcing me to do things I couldn't do. Hundreds of years to endless frustration. Nobody ever helped me. Nobody even noticed me. So why did you have to be kind to me now when it's already too late? You idiots, have you really not figured out yet? I tricked you. The only reason I brought you here is so I could keep you to myself. Why else would I be doing this? Ah, why did I? Ah. Get ready. She's not a fairy anymore. She's Moors now. Just a thing that can no longer speak or listen. It's a dark sludge that fouls the world by existing. It's Britain's curse and his death to fairies. I see, so that's what those creatures that attacked us were. A group of fairies that had lost themselves to the point they can no longer keep their forms intact.
みんなついてきて。白兵戦行きます。自分のうちに準備。
Oh, these are just level 8. Damn it! I thought I cleansed my friends list of all the Castorias with less than max skills. Oh, whatever. Nothing I can do about it now.
Hi.
Oh. Ah. Okay, that makes sense. Alright, well in that case, quick brave chain from Tristan. This should be more than sufficient. If a debuff appears on their face, that means they're still alive, unfortunately. Alright, we're gonna try and get his NP back again. Strange gaze. Guarded. Oh, excellent. Another quick brave chain. Another round of criticals. Moderately annoying. I've lost Tristan, but it's fine. I can win this turn. Dang, they even count as demonic. That's horrifying, honestly. Well, I think we got her, but... Hey, listen, you're adorable. Well, thank you for the follow. I stream just about anything on this channel, so feel free to stop by anytime something catches your eye. Be careful, Sander. She's not done yet. But she's not trying to attack anymore. She's trying to tell us something. Pardon me. Oh my. I hope you don't mind. I didn't want to make the three of you put her out of her misery. As I know the more as well, I thought I should be the one to do what's necessary. That rapier strike came from behind us like the wind, and there's something familiar about them. Hope you had a good time and stay good as well. Well, thank you. It's certainly been a nice story so far, and does illustrate just how dangerous the Fey realm can be. Sorry about that. You are free now. May you find peace in your next life. No way. You're... Hello there, Master. Nice to meet you. I'm sorry it took so long to get here. Then again, I guess it's pretty confusing too, judging by the looks on your face. A king doesn't typically introduce himself, but none of my attendants are here, so I suppose I don't have a choice. I am Oberon, a heroic spirit summoned here by humanity. I am the one and only servant in all of this Lostbelt who is destined to help you. Most people know me as Oberon the Fairy King. What do you think? Pretty cool, is it not? That is a completely different art style from the entire game. But given the Fey realm is supposed to seem off, I actually think that could work. Oberon, the king of fairies from A Midsummer Night's Dream. This makes sense. Pop culture loves to use him and Titania whenever possible. Interesting. We're certainly finding strange friends in these places. Dang, all that, we're still only in Section 1. Well, I suppose they do need time to establish the rules of the Lostbelt. Most people know me as Oberon the Fairy King. What do you think? Pretty cool, right? Interesting. Oh, are we getting our memories back? Oh, and that's right. He knows our the fact he knew our true name. That says a lot, because, again, even up till now, we've always been on the impression her name was Lysander. Indeed, master, you are the master of Chaldea, and I am Tristan, knight of the bewitched bow, and the child of sadness. At last, I finally remember everything. As for you, Mash, your name is not really Mash. Oberon? Oh, Merlin? Merlin? Sorry, you're just not exactly what I was expecting. You look so much like someone I was thinking of. It threw me off for a moment. At any rate, I remember who I am now. My name is Castor. Artoria Castor. Actually, it keeps having it as Altria. Indeed, even the series creator will continue to insist that it's Altria. Oh, that's kind of a mouthful, isn't it? Really, Castor's just the name, was just my name of the village from. Even the series creator is sticking to that name. Which is a shame, because the one from before, Artoria, was perfectly fine. It's basically just the female version of Artorias, another name for Arthur. Well, I guess if nothing else, Arknights remembers that female Arthur is Arturia. Although, beats me if she'll ever be playable or just remain an NPC in that game. I'm relieved to see you have your names back. Now we better hurry, you'll get caught in that fog again. Go on, get going. See those trees over there? That's your goal. First, you should see what Britain is really like. After that, we'll have plenty to talk about. That's true, we need to get out of these woods. I agree. Let's go, Master. It's time you saw the Twilight Island, home of so many fairies. The utopia of wind, earth, and life, blessed by the song of rain, the Isle of Britain. That's some really nice artwork. Dang. Fragment of one. Alright, let me grab a sip of my drink before we continue. Let me hydrate here real quick. Ah. Avalon Lostbelt. The new title screen's really neat. Meanwhile, several days after she got separated from the Master, the girl managed to make out the nameless woods on her own, ahead of the others. What was the difference in her innate servant abilities? Simply a stroke of good luck. Neither, in fact. She simply swept along by a moor's current and unceremoniously spat out somewhere. Honestly, it's actually kind of, anticlimactic, really. The outcome speaks for itself, really. Deprived of her strength, her equipment in pieces. I don't know what's got my throat there. She going to collapse by the highway. Well, this is bad. This is very bad. Very, very bad. If she stays there for too long... See what I tell you, I knew there'd be one or two around this time of year. Check it out, Premium Wind Fairy. This'll keep us fed for the whole winter. She'll be easy pickings for the slave hunters who prey on fairies who wander out of the woods. These guys look familiar, but I'm not sure how. Are they a reference to something? It's probably a reference to something. The series creator is absolutely shameless when it comes to references to other franchises. Oh, I gotta call her before she wakes up. I don't know who she is, but it won't matter once we sell her. Make a bundle. She'll get a nice warm bed and someone to keep her company. I call win-win. Ah, wolf, there's a wolf here. Grr. Unfortunately, fate had other plans for her. No wonder she's my favorite. That fluffy guy next to her is the Sage Grim, the White Fang. Those thugs won't get near her, not with him around. Ah, crap, she's awake and she looks real strong. We're dead. Who are you? No, wait, why was I collapsed on the ground? Phew, she doesn't remember anything. Hey there, young lady. We're just, a group of lake caretakers. Our job to help any fairies who collapse on the side of the road. Yeah, that's it. We're here to help you. Now go on and get in our car. It's the latest model from Norwich. It's way better than walking. One of us pulls while the other two smile. That way, two can relax, only one has to work. But hey, don't worry. You're a valued guest. We'll never make you pull the car. I mean, the Fae are basically D&D stuff. Yeah, D&D is a bit closer to the old school fairy stuff that this Lost Belt's clearly based off of. Hence why I made to note that stuff like interpretation of it. Oh yeah, even some of the stuff in this series is written almost like it could be put into a tabletop manner. Although I'm guessing it's intent more so that they can make it vague enough they can reinterpret it as necessary. You know, my own Pathfinder campaign with some friends has ended up dealing with Fey Realm and also slavers near it. Although, granted, the slavers themselves were not Fey like these guys are. But yeah, elves, goblins, trolls, all those are technically classified under the Fey umbrella. Say, what do you think of Anise Brothers? Doesn't this seem like a great name for her? Why, you mean we're not going with Urchin like usual? I guess lol, but change of pace won't hurt. Sound good to a niece? Now go on, try to stand up here, hold on to me if you need. Besides, you don't want to be laying on the ground too long, or if the giant caterpillar, or the giant caterpillars will eat you. Okay, thank you. Whoa, what's all that metal? She's an iron shield, armor, what's this? A canister? Dang, you think she's one of the Queen Knights, seeing how she's got all these weapons? You guys sure this is a good idea? What if the Queen kills us? Ah, you're a big scaredy cat, aren't you? Don't worry about it. Even if she's one of the Queen Knights, who cares? Doesn't matter if she can't remember anything. Yeah, what's gonna happen if she doesn't even know her own name? If she doesn't have a place to call home, what's wrong with taking her to a new one? As a merchandise, of course. The three fairies exchange a knowing lock and cackle. And so, she and all her things wound up in the cart with no clue as to who she is. The cart begins heading north towards Gloucester, beginning another separate journey. But all that aside... Hey, that wolf's following us. What do we do? Really don't want to mess with his like. They say if you kill one, you become a Moors. Guess we'll have to let him tag along too. Maybe we can sell him off with the girl. Don't worry, these fairies won't be having much luck as their intimidating fairy friend is around. Usually I have some idea of who the narrator is, but unless it's Oberon, I guess I'm not sure here. Salisbury. You know, I get they don't always want MASH involved with every storyline that comes up, but this is certainly a heavy-handed way to do it. And also, we're not even getting any of the mini Da Vinci. Beautiful, isn't it? It's the center of the British Lostbelt. See that super ominous castle-looking thing over there? That's Camelot. These days, Britain is divided to north and south regions, and Camelot sits beneath them. Most people live here in the central area. Four main cities are Salisbury, the great cathedral, Norwich, the nearest port town, Gloucester, the city of fashion, and Oxford, the great dining hall. Each city is run by a head of the fairy clan. Excuse me, but do you know anything about our other two companions? Oh, I see. There were others from Chaldea with you. Very sorry, but you were the only one I managed to find. And as you can see, it's just me right now, so tracking you down was the best I could do. Alright, so this pretty much confirms that, yeah, he was the one who gave us that false name specifically to protect us from those fairies. And, oh, I guess since she's dead, my general thought was that maybe, Castoria there actually gave her a name. You can give a fairy a name as part of an exchange, however, circumstances determine how successful that actually can be. So I guess she was, if Castoria did in fact give her a name, then I guess she was simply too close to becoming a Moors to be able to properly make use of it and gain a new purpose again. I guess like Timmy from what was it? Atlantis. She's there for like 5 minutes before dying. As you can see, it's just me right now, so tracking you down is the best I could do. But that does lead me to my next point. Can you tell me what this Smash of yours looks like? As long as I know what she looks like, I can have Blanca look for her. Blanca, who's that? Didn't you say you were alone? Oh, right, here, let me introduce you. Pretty cute, right? Talk with her a lot, I guess you could call her my friend. Anyway, she's very neat, very smart, and above all, she's a very hard worker. If anyone can track down Mash, she can. Now that's settled, how about we start sharing what we all know with one another? Tell me your story and I shall tell you mine. Well, that's a legitimate exchange. Remember, be very careful about what information you give Faye, even one who seems helpful like this. If you must make a deal, make sure it's very clear exactly what you're exchanging. Like, if we're not paying attention here, you could actually swap your backstories. Don't ask how, that's just how it can happen if he was a mind to interpret it that way, but it doesn't seem he is. And now you know the rest. I see, so you've conquered 5 of these Lostbelts so far, and while you weren't originally planning to come to Britain, you, Mashlinar, and Tristan wound up coming to investigate this collapse. But then, after the 4 of you landed here, you got separated in the Nameless Woods. That's unfortunate. No, I'm sorry I couldn't be more helpful. I had no idea you weren't the only ones lost. If I'd been more attentive back then, maybe I could have tracked down Mash and Leonardo as well. But I was so excited about finding you, I forgot all about everything else. So you were the one I saw on the beach before her lost consciousness. For the time being, there's one thing we now and should check. Mash is your contracted servant, correct? Then you should have a magical energy connection with her. If she's still active, then we'll at least know she's alive, even if you don't know where she is. How about it? Can you check on that for us? Yeah, the connection's still active. Well, that's a relief. Oh, great. Then all we need to do is find her. Now is find her. And Leonardo's a servant as well, correct? And I'm sure she's also alive and kicking. Fortunately, the fairies can't tell the difference between their fellow Fey folk and servants. So as long as they're not human, they shouldn't be in too much danger. Let's just stay calm and handle things ourselves. Well, remember, Castoria told us that the Fae don't typically fight amongst themselves, and yet they had zero hesitation devolving into a bloody mess. Next, Altria, is there something you wish to say to me? Not right now, anyway. Honestly, I'm just still trying to wrap my head around what I just heard about Chaldea, proper new mystery, the Lostbelt. Although, getting back to servants or spirits, is that like a human turning to a fairy after they die? And you said both you and Tristan are servants yourselves? Oh, that's right. If you want to know more about heroic spirits, I'm sure the master there would be happy to fill you in on the way. Between a resident of Lost Belts like you and a master of proper human history who's the guest in this world, you two should be able to catch up with each other on almost everything. Yeah, the easiest way to explain it is that servants are just very powerful familiars copied from a database outside time and space. On the way you said, does that mean you have a destination in mind, Oberon? Although, technically speaking, each summoned version is a separate copy, which I guess explains why they decided to go the gacha route for this game. So therefore, each one would have different memories from any other summoning version. Or in fact, 2 masters with the same servant would have 2 very different versions, really. I do indeed. When you're trying to track someone down, a big city is your best bet. Besides, you'd both need to get used to the way things work here in Fairy Britain. So our next stop is Salisbury, the biggest city in the south. There we'll find food, clothing, shelter, everything we need, really. It's just a full day's walk from here. I know you've been up all night, but do you think you could make the trek? Of course, we don't have time to sit around and rest. Now, let's not be hasty. I know you must feel, but like I said, now's the time to take it easy. Remember, Britain is a big place. If you keep pushing yourself hard, you'll burn out before we even find Mash. Don't worry, you can tell she's okay, because you're her master, correct? Well, my own intuition's telling me she's safe as well. I'm the Fairy King, and I'm the Fairy King, so that really says something. So let's start with Salisbury. I'd figure out the rest from there. Salisbury, huh? Wish I do. It might be kind of dangerous to go back now, but I also can't leave and defend for myself. Plus, I don't care what this Oberon guy says. He seems a lot like Merlin. Would it be okay if I come along too? I know I mistakenly went by Mash's name for a while there, but I want to know about you and, oh right, proper human history. Oh, sorry, I assumed you'd be coming with us. Right, of course. Well, gosh, what am I even saying? Of course you wouldn't want a country bumpkin like me tagging You're shaking my hand again? Does that mean it's okay? Of course, I'm glad to have you with us. I mean, you're a massively overpowered support. Why wouldn't I want you with me? Compared to something like Arknights, Fate Grand Order is a game that absolutely revolves around its supports. Like, I do like them in Arknights, why I have ones like Stainless and Auk, but they are considered optional for depending on your strategy. But in Fate Grand Order, they are absolutely essential to function. What a lovely friendship. I was definitely on pins and needles back in Cornwall, but it seems not interfering was the right choice after all. Theatrical terms, I believe this is the part where say, now the actors are in place and the real story can begin. Caldeo alone won't be enough. The Child of Prophecy alone won't get here in time. So we'll need both defeat the mighty Morgan. It's impossible to avoid Morgan given the banners for this, but I will not say anything about her for
回避や
now.
無敵には回数制とターン制
I'll just get all that done off stream. I'm mostly going to be doing this game in between Grandia, I think. Bazakas. I've got my own Castoria. I guess I can just stick to these. The prophecy was true. The girl is our star of hope. She'll be our salvation, our path to forgiveness. She's our savior who drifted to shores with a ship full of treasure. She's the one who will hear the voice of paradise and chant the promised name. Ah, dear Artoria. May you grow to the age of 16 healthy and strong. May the Queen's soldiers never find you. One day you'll go on a journey to ring the 6 bells and save all Britain. A journey to welcome our true king. Well, at least it's not the 2 bells and to deal with the flames of whatever. I was trying to make a silly Dark Souls reference, but I forgot I've never actually played Dark Souls. I've gotten into Souls-likes recently, but strangely never gotten to the originals. Gloucester, Salisbury, Oxford, Norwich, Orkney. We may not know where the 6th bell is, but we are confident you'll find it. The staff of selection has chosen you. You are the fairy Britain's only hope. Now go, hurry, hurry, hurry. Hurry and greet your 16th birthday. We have complete faith in you. Oh, the village is done for. The executioner squads are here. Hold your head high. Grip your staff tight. Now it's time to begin your journey, Ultria. Remember, no matter what anyone says, you're unquestionably the Child of Prophecy. You are the spitting image of her. So whatever Castoria's destiny is, that group of village of fairies sacrifice themselves to make sure she escape. Sorry, I'm so weak. I can't live up to your expectations. I'll do my best, as much as I can. I promise. Smack, smack. Are you sleeping already? Huh? Oh, was I asleep? I just remember Tristan playing his harp and... this saddens me. I was merely trying to soothe your exhaustion. But I can't help but notice you don't seem to care for my music, my liege. I mean, maid Altria. I'm sorry, I'm just not used to hearing music. But it did help me fall asleep peacefully. I'd love you to play it again once bedtime. Ouch, you wound me. No bard wants to be told his music puts people to sleep. Hey, you can't blame her. We've been walking non-stop nearly all day. We are all exhausted. That's why we're camping out here tonight before we make our way to Salisbury morning. Castoria, can you put up a bounded field to keep wild animals? You can put up a bounded field to keep wild animals, great. I hate to ask since you're so sleepy. Would you mind? Oh, yes, of course. I'll be back soon. Now then. I know we told Autoria that proper human history is like a parallel world to Britain, but of course that's not entirely the truth, is it? Truth is, proper human history is the rightful timeline, and it's fundamentally incompatible with this world of Fairy Britain. Yeah, it's unfortunately impossible to properly explain the concept of Lostbelts to someone who lives there without pointing out that only one can exist. As Caldel, you have to erase the Lostbelts to ensure humanity's future, and now you're trying to come up with a way to tell her this without hurting her too badly. Well, I know it's wrong to hide that, but... I see, I suppose you have betrayed the people of 5 Lostbelts already. That is the... We're gonna be honest, that is a very disingenuous way of putting it, even if technically true. Oh damn, I usually pride myself on being an excellent conversationalist. Bullshit. But even I'm having trouble coming up with the right words to heal the wounds in your heart. I would agree it's something you don't want to bring up right now, but at the same time, you don't want to bring up like 10 seconds before it actually happens. We don't want to do the One Piece thing where we drop the entire backstory, be it 10 minutes before the story arc ends. So for now, best I can do is offer words of consolation. It's okay, this lost belt won't fall by your hand. Remember, it's already falling apart on its own. If anything, I'd say you're doing it a favor. A favor? Yes, indeed, human history could not ever prosper in this version of Britain. It's a flawed world already destined for destruction. History took a dreadfully wrong turn here. Yeah. If that, if the fact that fairies back there turn from friendly to murderous on a dime like that isn't a good indication, yeah. You absolutely, there's a good reason this one timeline was pruned. The only problem is that it's threatening to take proper human history down with it when it all goes to pot. That's why guys like us from proper human history have to do whatever we can to save it. And that means defeating the one who's been ruling it on high for 2,000 years, High Queen Morgan. Hold on, say Morgan, as in that Morgan? Yep, that Morgan. The same one who proved to be King Arthur's ultimate Achilles heel in proper human history, even after he united all of Britain. The extraordinary witch who lured King Arthur into countless traps to take Camelot for herself, and the mother of Mordred, the treacherous knight, the child of King Arthur, proved to be his downfall. She's the one who ultimately destroyed Britain, and here, she's Fairy Britain's ruler, and she'll bring it all to ruin. Let's see, I think you Chaldeans would probably refer to her as the Lostbelt's king. King Arthur's archenemy here in the Lostbelt. More specifically, she is often referred to as Morgan Le Fay, which I'm guessing is no coincidence that the story chapter is called Avalon Le Fay. Anyways, based on everything you've told me, it sounds like Morgan's behind the outside world so as long as you can defeat her, that should end the threat to proper human history. After that, you can just leave this place to its fate. Whether it falls apart or puts itself back together, you won't need to feel bad about it. I noticed that our protagonist failed to mention that we need to take the Rongo Miniad, but I think that might be for the best. That's something that should probably be kept on a need-to-know basis. Then again, our protagonist loves to spill absolutely all personal details about everything a lot, so we're probably going to be forced to be more trusting than we really should be. Then again, I guess with Castoria here to warn us, hey, don't make that deal, maybe we'll be in better shape. Look over there, was that a Lostbelt that need to survive a Tree of Emptiness? I'm guessing that World Tree, the giant ash over there beyond the sea, is it. And as you can see, it's been dead for a very long time. This Lostbelt hasn't got long left. Was it ever on fire at any point? Oh yeah, now that you mention it, it was. It went up in flames not too long ago, then died out just as quickly as it started. Wonder what that was all about anyway. Anyway, I think that's enough talk for tonight. Don't want to overdo the info dump. But we have to get you back to gameplay after all. So even if you don't remember anything else we talked about tonight, at least remember this. Defeat High Queen Morgan, ruler of the Fairy Britain. Nice and simple, right? As for the rest, I'll tell you once we reach Salisbury. Once you see the Fey City for yourself, I think you'll have a much better handle on what life in Britain's like. Oh, whoops, sorry, well, we got wyverns. Get ready to fight. I'm sorry, I accidentally skipped a couple steps making the bounded field. I ended up summoning a pack by mistake. Could you help me out, please? I never thought the day would come when my liege begged me for... I'm sorry, I keep forgetting she's not the Arthur I know. Oh, this is embarrassing. Even if she's not, I'm still glad to have her around. Me too, it's such an honor that makes me feel sorry for the other knights of the Round Table. Here they come, be careful. Britain's beasts are not to be trifled with. I guess Oberon's not much of a fighter, but I guess that does make sense. I should fuse a good one next time I play an SMT game. Zerks make this very easy. Enemies being Zerks, that is. Arash clear out the first wave. This is only one wave, so no point holding back. I'm using my cast story instead of the story one because she has level 10 everything. Night Watcher. There we are. Delicious.
というわけで港の下で最後のお昼休み7時来る。Good morning. 何か
Sadly, as you can see from that 16%, it is not possible to make Tamacat loop no matter what you do. And believe me, I've tried everything. Paracelsus, Bride Nero, even removing Scotty just exchange for more people with NP gain up. It just doesn't work, so I just use a Rash to clear the first wave. Yay, we won, we trounced them, that feels so good. This makes me happy. That was the first battle I've won handily since we summoned. True, we haven't had much luck with combat since we got here. Indeed, I may not be a match for the fairies, but demonic beasts like these are no match for a Knight of the Round Table. My seas are already strong enough to handle a murder of night crows without much trouble, Very nice, that's even better than I was expecting. Tristan, your bow may not be particularly strong, but its range is exceptional. You're clearly well suited for battles against large groups. With you on your side, I bet we can win, no matter how outnumbered we may be. You realize he's a single target servant, right? He specializes in taking out large and beefy enemies, not groups. You want an AoE for groups. As for you, you're much more of a wild card than you look. Is that tool of yours handmade? Strange tool of yours handmade? A rare weapon like that would be very effective against an opponent who's never seen it before, especially as a distraction. And above all, your summons were fascinating. Temporarily summoning heroic spirits to aid in battle, huh? I had no idea that it was such a flexible and powerful way to fight. Honestly, I'm usually just lazy because you can handle most fights by just throwing a berserker at it. Human magecraft doesn't tend to work very well against fairies, but summoning spirits is definitely an exception. The only problem with it is how long you can last, given the incredible demands on your stamina, magical energy, and, well, sheer luck. Plus, it seems the longer a battle lasts, the more of a toll it takes on you. As long as you're careful about that, you should be able to handle anyone, fairy or not. This guy has observation and deduction skills on par with Sherlock. Wait a moment, human magecraft? You can use magecraft? Barely, thanks to my mystic code, but yes, that being the outfit. Oh gosh, I was just a little taken aback. See, magecraft isn't used much in Britain. Basically, fairies perform sacraments without any help from basic magecraft spells, or mystic code. So magecraft is considered unnecessary at best, and only practiced by weirdos at worst. In fact, to be totally blunt, if you tell people to use it here, they tend to look at you funny and ask why you go through all that trouble. I see, you do have a point. Fairies simply have no need for magecraft. Yeah, magecraft is largely came about because humans are incapable of proper magic, but fairies don't have that limitation, so they have no need of it. And since as Britain is a land dominated by fairies, that would mean magecraft is effectively worthless here. So why do you use it then, Toria? Everything I just said, you really went there, huh? Now, as an honest question, you know you didn't mean anything by that, right? Anyways, you don't have to if you'd rather not. As for you, I suggest you wait for a better time before bringing this up again. Anyway, I think we might have gotten distracted from our main purpose. Now that we've got this nice camp set up, we should use it as a good night's rest. I'm sure there's more you'd like to know about the Master, but why don't we save that for tomorrow? Fortunately, there's none of the Queen's soldiers, no more, and no rebels army around here. And once we wake up in the morning, it's only another hour's walk to Salisbury, where we'll be able to have a much more in-depth conversation. After all, if you're going to have a full discussion, you should save it for a nice relaxing place, am I right? And that's basically just the world's history up to... Oh, so other worlds really do exist. England, Scotland, Ireland. So there's countries beyond that isle as well, like France and Italy. I can't even imagine so many different countries, cultures, people. It sounds like you come from a wonderful world. Britain without fairies, huh? Sounds like a nice change of pace. Well, from where he's sitting, I imagine he finds this Britain full of fairies to be quite the change of pace. I do have to correct you on one thing, though. It's not that there aren't any fairies at all in proper human history where he comes from. While mystics have definitely faded since the AD/CE era began, fairies are still around. Yeah. While some still use AD, I do know that a lot of places have moved over to CE, short for current era. I know there's also some complaints about the name, but come on, you can name something whatever the hell you want. I mean, there's a protein string called Sonic Hedgehog. No, I'm not joking. Google it. All that it matter is all that matters for a name is that someone wanted to call it that. It doesn't have to have any deeper meaning. Though, of course, there are far fewer of them, and they don't reveal themselves to humans much. Heck, I'm a fair hero to my spirit myself. Come to think of it, Oberon, aren't you A Midsummer Night's Dream, correct? Written by William Shakespeare, England's greatest playwright. It may as well be one of the most famous stories about fairies. It's basically about a love, square between humans, but two of the most important characters are Oberon, king of the fairies, and his queen, Titania. In the story, Oberon wants Titania to give him one of her pages, so he hatches a plan involving a potion that will cause the drinker to fall in love with the first living thing they see upon awakening. But two humans end up taking it by mistake, causing them to forget about the person they love and mistakenly believe they're fated to be with someone else. Well, without going into too much detail, it all wraps up nicely in the end. It's a sort of comedy of errors focused on love and miscommunication you see anywhere. But unfortunately for me, it became so popular that it kept being retold for generations. Thanks to that, the World Fair is now synonymous with the mischievous Puck and narrow-minded King Oberon. So, at least in one sense, I might be the most famous fairy in the world. If you've never read it before, you should give it a shot once you get back to Chaldea. It doesn't paint the most flattering picture of me, unfortunately, but never mind that. And just to be clear, I swear I wasn't trying to make trouble, alright? Just a plot device, really. Only there to get the romantic hijinks rolling. Oh, so does that mean you're technically a fictional character, Oberon? Is it even possible for someone as vaguely defined as that to become a servant? No, it isn't. While Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream is indeed how he's best known, legends of Oberon, the Fairy King, have existed in Europe since ancient times. Perhaps most notably, there's a poem about him from the 15th century, well before Shakespeare's time, where he's described as the king of fairies who can use magic to make any wish come true. Really? I didn't know about that one. Well, the point is, the character was inspired by an existing model, and that model must have become the base for my servant form. A bit unusual for him to not know that, but like I said, the same thing can happen with someone like Robin Hood. The 3-star version you get in this game is indeed a Robin Hood, but not necessarily the Robin Hood. So he might not know all the details about Sherwood Forest and the Merry Men, but he at least would have the general gist of it. Which came first? Who knows? It's another version of the chicken and egg problem. What about Titania then? Oh, she's all Shakespeare. There are no legends, fairy history of anyone by that name. The name Titania probably came from the Titans of Greek mythology, if I had to guess. The Oberon's pretty self-centered, after all. You could never find a lady who would tolerate him, so Shakespeare had to make him up. Had to make one up. But I digress, sorry for wasting our time. Salisbury's up ahead. Don't worry about the guards. I'll handle them. All you three have to do is stay quiet. It's okay. My face is basically a free pass to the city. Alright, and one more thing. Do not tell them your names. If they ask and you cannot avoid something, make something up. This is what I was getting to earlier with the fake name and why he gave us our Lysander alias. You do not want to give a true name because that, especially in this universe, because this is a universe where true names by themselves already gain power, and fairies having power on top of that is just too much. We don't need anyone else finding out you're human. You never know who might be listening. Hold on, isn't it dangerous to lie to fairies? I've heard their eyes can see through falsehoods. If so, shouldn't we avoid lying where possible? Oh, don't worry about that. The fairies here do not have any power like that. I don't know if they lost them thanks to this prosperity, or they threw them away in order to be prosperous. Either way, they definitely can't tell truth from lies anymore. It could also be that the legends of fairies and what exact powers they have will vary from legend to legend. Hence why I had to choose a very specific one for my own Fae self as a base. As I said, I can explain a bit better, but I expect the game's probably... If the game used the Tamlin name for the Fairy Knights, I expect they're going to explain that, so I'll let the game explain it, even if that might be a while. Lostbelt 6 is one of the longer story chapters, so I expect this stream to be a while, hence why I'm interchanging it with Grandia a bit. The only way you can tell if you're dealing with a good person or not is when everything's said and done. How else could someone as evil as Morgan stay atop this world for so long? Huh. So this is Salisbury. Wow, that is a very large cathedral. Ah, how this gladdens me. The air here is very different from Cornwall. Maybe fairies everywhere we turn here as well, but I don't sense anything dangerous about them. They all seem to be happy and full of good cheer. Some sort of festival taking place today or something. No, this is just life in Salisbury. It's the only free city in all of Britain. There are about 200,000 people living in Salisbury. Some are wind, earth, and fang fairies. Some are fairies who emerge spontaneously from nature. Some are even independent humans. Independent humans. Humans who have won their freedom, now belong to no one but Britain itself. I was hoping to tell you about that aspect of life here once things settle down, but I guess it was bound to come sooner or later. And since the great cathedral here is here too, it seems a good place as any to get to it. You Chaldeans may have thought there were no humans in this Lostbelt, but strictly speaking, that is not true. They're just not at the top of the hierarchy. Here, they're used as tools to enrich fairy society. In proper human history terms, they're essentially slaves. Didn't you think there was something strange about the city? It's wrong, twisted, unseemly. Now that you mention it, they do have fairies. You're right, more like a human city than a fairy one. Exactly. Fairies are supposed to live in harmony with nature. Even when they form communities, it's always forest children, stone children, gathering under the same great mother. They were always... it's... Oberon looks genuinely angry at this. They're always just divided spirits on the planet who never possessed a culture of their own. As you can see, the Fairy Britain has become a place where fairies imitate human society. For about 14,000 years, the fairies here have raised humans like cattle. In that time, they've used humans' innate creativity as entertainment, which has allowed them to flourish. Fairies live long lives, they require no sustenance whatsoever. Since there's nothing they can't do, they never change, they never try anything new. In contrast, humans have countless weaknesses, they have short lives, injuries do not heal. Well, strictly speaking, that's not true, they just have limited self-healing. And they need food to survive, and they can easily be killed by wild beasts. So naturally, humans come with all sorts of things that allow them to survive and flourish in spite of all those weaknesses. I'm guessing the fairies found that kind of human thinking to be fascinating. It's like finding a shiny new toy. That is true, even in fantasy settings, human engineering is usually something that sets them apart. So they've begun keeping humans as livestock, followed by superficially copying their culture with cities like this. They completely ignore the substance behind human agriculture, architecture, and other various fields of study, instead only imitating at the most basic, superficial level. Anything they couldn't copy manually, they fudged with magical energy. That cathedral there is the worthless offender. Fairies have no gods, no religion. There was no actual point in making a cathedral, they just thought it was fun. That's Fairy Britain's culture, that's how they treat humans. So basically they just kind of ripped off human culture, to use a crude way of putting it. Yes, I guess you could put it that way. Still, as a fairy myself, I can understand how things got to this point. While they definitely took it too far, it makes sense they do get like this in a world where humans are endangered. Both in proper human history and in this Lostbelt, humans are fairies' favorite source of luxury and entertainment. This land came to be known as Fairy Britain when the fairies began regulating humans at a societal level. It's also the key political policy of High Queen Morgan, your enemy. You guys are gonna fight Morgan? Yep, or at least that's the current plan, isn't that right? I don't know, but I still don't have a good handle of the situation here, but I do know we need to at least meet with her. But first, we need to find my other two companions. Sadly, I doubt she's going to be as open to negotiation as Scotty was. I think that's something I really liked about Lostbelt 2. While Scotty was clearly our enemy and she knew what the issue was, she also... Well, she didn't try to guilt trip us or anything. She knew darn well that we want our timeline to exist just like hers does, so she didn't want to fight us where possible. She just wanted to try and find way to let. She even tried to find a way to let us stay in her Lostbelt, with ours gone. So it was definitely interesting having an enemy that was genuinely open to negotiation like that. A shame, Surtur happened. Oh right, we do, don't we? First things first and all that. Why don't we start with the pub? There are always people coming and going in pubs, and some of them may find something useful. Why'd you stop? Is something wrong? You've helped me a lot, Master. I do appreciate it, but what should I do? If he's gonna fight Queen Morgan, it'd only complicate things if I stuck around. I wanted to stay with him until we found Mash, but maybe better go our separate ways here? Oh, so that's how it is. And by the way, Artoria, do you know what they do to humans in this city they catch without owners? They're captured as ranch escapees and set up in New Darlington. Darlington? The National Slaughterhouse Theater? Say what? That's horrible. Wait, isn't it supposed to be a free city? The head of the Wind Clan runs this, right? Surely they wouldn't do anything so horrid. Not necessarily. Not even the head of the Wind Clan can defy the High Queen. So it would definitely be to our advantage to have as many trusted collaborators with us as possible. The Master still doesn't know left from right here. On top of that, he's human. Without an owner to watch over him, it'd be nameless woods all over again. I'd do it myself, but I'm obviously noble, even royal. It would strain credulity if I were to claim a human of unknown origins as an attendant. But you, on the other hand, would be a perfect fit. And don't worry, I'm not asking you to stay with him forever, just while we're in Salisbury. For that over being alone, too, right, Master? I guess you're right. Being alone in Britain these days would make you more likely to attract suspicion from authorities. Oh, what about Tristan? Couldn't he pretend to be Alex's owner? Probably could, but Tristan knows as little about Fairy Britain as the Master. It wouldn't make sense take much questioning from one of the clan guards to expose the facade. I wouldn't go that route unless we had absolutely no other choice. But if I have a human attendant, that would mean I have to be an upper-class fairy, which would also make his owner... Come now, it would just be pretend, or we were actually hoping to make him your pet. No, I couldn't. Pretend's fine. I'm still much too young for that. Well, good. It's settled. Alex, Artoria is going to be your owner for a while. It'll be the safest way to travel here. Think you can play along. Well, thanks for doing this. Don't worry, I have some acting experience. Yeah, during Salem, we were actual actors. Pretending to be actual actors, so we had to put on some plays. Okay, for sure, you want me for this, I'll do it. Besides, we've come this far together, I certainly don't mind traveling together a little more. In fact, look on the bright side, this is actually making one of my childhood dreams come true. Oh, what dream would that be? The same dream every fairy who grows up in the country has, joined the ranks of the upper-class fairy folk. Sounds like Oberon would say it's not as great as you might think. Hey there, my good Salisburyans, how are you all this fine day? I like that smile pose. That's right, it is I, Oberon, the Fairy King of the Autumn Woods, Emmet missionary of peace, flowers, and fairy tales, here to grace you with my boisterous presence. The pub owner. Hey, Oberon, glad to see you're doing well. Nice to have you back in Salisbury again. Make sure you don't put anything in your tab today, you hear? Oberon, I knew coming to drink today was a good idea. Or when you're paying back the money I lent you. I still have to thank you for your help the other day, Oberon. Your advice really got the trees in my backyard to settle down. I'm still waiting for you to pay me back, though. Love you, Oberon. You have some time to spare, right? You must attend our tea party today. I'm still waiting for you to pay me back, though. Oh, there's a poor prince with a 10,000-year tab. Don't worry, I'll cover this round. I'm still waiting for you to pay me back, though. Something tells me Oberon here is not very good with money. Or perhaps he's just a bit too or perhaps he's too good with it. We'll cut that out. Stop putting out how popular I am. I'm here to watch some important friends today. Save the mic talk for another time, alright? We know. Don't worry, we're all just joking. Mostly. You've enriched our lives more than Queen's banknotes ever could. We're happy to treat you. What was that about a 10,000-year-old tab? So you're poor, even though you call yourself king. Well, yes, my finances are a little lean now. In fact, bluntly, I'm flat broke. But what do you expect? I was summoned to Fairy Britain, and all I had on me was this cloak. I woke up in a forest piled high with dead leaves with nothing to my name. Usually in a situation like that, I'd be too bummed to do anything but wait for help with proper human history, but since I arrived first, I knew there were some things I need to take care of. Fairies thrive on what they find interesting, so I went around putting on shows in the various cities here. Sang songs, riled crowds, told fairy tales, entertained housewives, livened up the nights. Over time, the people of Britain came to know me as the regal fairy king of Fife nobody's heard of. At least in the major cities, anyway. Oh, I didn't know about you because I'm from the countryside. Oh yeah, sorry about that. I'll try to branch out from now on. Still, it's a hard-fought battle in its own right. Can you imagine what it was like for me to have to act like nobility without any actual capital? I can. I recall a few dozen times I lied about my station so I could sing love songs to a beautiful woman I met at a tavern. Indeed, there's nothing quite so exciting, as tense as that. As a fellow poet, Oberon, I have the greatest respect for you and what you've accomplished here. Well, I guess this means Oberon has a lot of the bard experience. Good, we'll need that if we need to seduce a door open. I don't suppose you'd be willing to give a few in-depth lessons on a roll fairy style, would you? If you would like to learn from me, I'd be glad to teach you what I know. Besides, with your music backing me up, I bet I'd be able to expand my clientele even more. Now I see you're both scoundrels who can't be trusted around women. Alright, where should we sit, Oberon? My favorite table is the round one in the back on the raised floor. It's hard for other customers to see you there and gives you a full view of the whole pub. How about we start? Have a toast of fruit water. Excuse me, cutie, are you the new server? Let the owner know we'll be using the table in the back. Oh, and we like to order 4 apple waters. You got it. Have them ready in just a moment. Huh? Huh? Da Vinci? No way, it's really you! Alright, so yeah, I'm guessing that hole, big-ass hole, is where the Tree of Emptiness once was. Or is it over here? That is a giant beehive. That's something we'll have to avoid at all costs. And I imagine we'll have to go face first into it because, of course, we would. Alright, let me grab another sip of my drink. This is really murder in my throat, I'm gonna be honest. Ah. Next time I'm getting a full water bottle, because this is absolutely drying out my throat. Oh, I wonder if they have some other famous steak here. Oh man, you'll never believe what happened to me. So after we got separated in the fog, I let my instincts lead me, and that led me right back to the beach. Luckily, the beach was far enough from the foggy woods I was able to follow the coastline east. Eventually, I caught sight of Salisbury here and figured I ought to learn more in a populated city. Then when I got here, an angel far too good of this world appeared on my pub's doorstep. She was very unsteady, but I could see the fire deep in her eyes. What she said, "What a lovely place. Should let me work here?" I never said that. What I said was I'm looking for my companions. Could I have a glass of water? Oh, well, if you change your mind, let me know. You're welcome to work here forever. Yes, here's your first 100 times, Mike. Now let me get behind the counter. I'll teach you how to make cocktails later. Ooh, my perfect angel. Anyway, that's my story. Glad you're okay. Hey, Master, you two Tristan? It looks like you still haven't found Mash yet. I see. You must be the other servant and the Master told us about. It's an honor to meet a renowned genius like yourself, Leonardo da Vinci. Who are you? Guessing that means you know my name. I guess the fact you know my name means you're a servant from proper human history. I'm Oberon, the Fairy King, though I guess here it's more of an aspirational title. It's nice to meet you, Da Vinci. I'm Castoria. I'm Master in the Nameless Woods. To make a long story short, I'm, going around to pretending to be his owner. Oh, seriously? That's hilarious. Thanks, Artoria. That must be a huge weight off his shoulders. But hey, you're a British fairy too, right? You probably got some idea of what we're doing here by now. But you're helping, that means you're good with it? Well, more or less. Honestly, I don't even get half what they told me, but I do know he's telling the truth. I wouldn't feel right abandoning someone in trouble what's with him by ability help, and honestly seem kind of fun. Gotcha, should be speak frankly here. How'd you end up here, Master? And so we continue. Wow, sounds like you guys had a hell of a time in that forest. I'm glad you made it out there okay. Thanks for keeping us safe, Tristan. You too, Oberon. So we don't need to... So we still don't know much about Britain. We have no idea where Mash is, but we do know she's still alive, and Oberon's flat broke. Okay, now we're all on the same page. Yes, we did find it important to mention Oberon is indeed flat broke. You made the right call, Oberon. We shouldn't be wandering aimlessly around Britain right now. What we need to do is set up a base of operations here in Salisbury where we can gather information and tackle our problems one at a time. Our top priority is finding MASH, so we'll need to look for info on a girl wearing iron armor. While we do that, we should also learn more about Britain and the lives of the fairies within it. What do you have in mind for a base? Do you have a place you own here? I sure do. The pub doubles as an inn. Technically, they just copied a man-made inn without knowing what it was actually used for, so I taught Mike about inns and how to put all those extra rooms he's got here to good use. And as a little reward for my services, I get to take 3 of the second floor rooms for myself. I knew eventually we'd find each other and that we'd need a frontline base for what we did, so that's why I went ahead and made one. Interesting. So the Fae were so quick to adopt the human engineering that they didn't even bother to look up what most of it does. Wow, I'm impressed, Da Vinci, and I know Lancelot would be especially blown away by what you've done here. Is this Lancelot person also a young girl? Spit take. We have to choose the most appropriate outcome after all. This is great. I can always tell this Da Vinci of yours will be a huge help. Alright. Since it seems like you guys have things well in hand now, I think I'll take my leave. I actually got a lot of other things I still need to do. You're going off on your own, Oberon? Yep, I'm going to see what I can find out about the Smash Girl. Not to mention we also need more information about Britain as a whole. Now that you Chaldeans have come here, things are definitely going to change. Whoops, bumped the mic there. And since we still don't have many allies on our side yet, I want to make sure we know where things stand in every region. Oh, but we'll see you again soon, right? Of course, especially now that I know where I can find you all. Don't worry. The next time you see me, I'll have good news. In the meantime, I suggest you all get acclimated with Britain sooner rather than later. Well, damn, he sure didn't waste any time. I'm glad he's on our side, but he definitely dances the beat of his own drum, doesn't he? Indeed, and that colorful outfit speaks to me. It tells me that without a doubt, the same kind of poet. He's the same kind of poet. Ah, this gladdens me. So what should we do now? I could show you the around Salisbury if you'd like. Thanks, but I think we should take the rest of the day off. You all walked a long way to get here after all. Please, go ahead and make yourself comfy in the rooms I mentioned. The master, take a room for yourself. Just and I will share another. You can use the room set aside for MASH. I know this is not... I was right setting... Not set aside just 2 rooms. I'll also put up some magecraft barriers, so we don't have to worry about being overheard. Looks like we'll be continuing this conversation upstairs. Really, I can have a whole room for free? Hooray, I just want my own room. I can get comfy. Can't wait to get comfy. Thank you, Da Vinci. Goss, you proper human history. Fairies are also generous. Now she's gone too. I know I didn't touch on this before, but she's pretty different from the Saber we know, isn't she? Yes, she is. From what I've seen so far, we should consider her an entirely separate person, the King of Britain from proper human history. Yep, there's one more thing I'd like to discuss in a room if you don't mind. It's better if we discuss history stuff among ourselves. You can't be too careful here. Yeah. Even the Fae wouldn't take too kindly to realizing their timeline's about to be deleted. Alright, let's begin by sharing what we've learned by sharing this version about Britain. You probably got a sense of this on your way here, but this Lostbelt's very different from all the others so far. It doesn't look like an alternate path humanity could have taken, especially since humans are not the dominant species here. So far as I can tell, this world consists almost entirely of fairies. In Russia, a huge cold snap made it impossible for the human species to survive as they were, so they were forced to adapt and evolve. In Scandinavia, Twilight of the Gods, Ragnarok happened during the Age of Gods, and both gods and people alike were in a sharp decline after. China was ruled by a single Zenren, one true human, became the sole nation-state in the entire world. India was converging on itself through endless cycles of reincarnation, only for the whole world, instead of individual people. And in Greece, humankind was completely dominated by gods who never died out. While all of them were on dead ends, they were all human worlds. No matter how different they may have been from our timeline, they all still had human societies that suited their environments suited their environments in the year 2019. That's not the case here. This is very much not a human world. For one thing, there is no world outside of Britain. It's not like the other Lost Belts where we simply couldn't see the other world side of the world thanks to human walls. There's just nothing in this world at all besides Britain, no continents, and no other nations. So as long as we're here, the whole planet consists of nothing but the Isle of Britain and the sea. Wait, so this is the one ending from, Devil Survivor 2? Where basically the entire planet is nothing but ocean and Tokyo, and that's literally it? No, I will not elaborate further. That is... Pretty messed up ending. And that means it's basically another world entirely with no relation to human history. Yep, given what we know now, that's the only possible way to describe it. Over the last few days, I've been asking various fairies about what things are like between Britain and the other countries, but the very idea of other countries was alien to them. So there must be some strange circumstance that caused this place to become Fairy Britain. Figuring out what that is will be likely the key to beating, no, unraveling this lost belt. Hold on, if there aren't any other European countries here, does that mean every other fairy in this land comes solely to the Isle of from the solely of Avalon, Britain? It's a great question, Tristan. If there's no other lands in this world, it follows that no fairy legends from those places would be imported here. Luckily, there's still a thing called human history convergence. What that means is that as long as a fairy once existed on Earth, their existence will remain even though the form and history are different. Yeah, because not all the fairies here are from Britain, had origins in Britain specifically. So even this is Fairy Britain, we have fairies from all sorts of European legends showing up in different forms. Basically, ecosystems are similar, even if the environments aren't. So this is still the same planet Earth. There are inevitably going to be similar life form civilizations and large form events. Similar, huh? Yep, Fairy Britain may be nothing like the Britain we know. But despite that, the two Britons have a surprising number of things in common. City names, fairy names, even the name of this world's queen. Remember that huge castle to the north you saw on the way here? That belongs to High Queen Morgan, the ruler of Fairy Britain. And it won't surprise you to learn that its name is Camelot. That's right, the same castle that symbolized British peace and human history, that was home to King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, belongs to Morgan. The strongest, most despised witch in British history, the one indirectly responsible for King Arthur's death and Britain's downfall. Basically the main villain of Arthurian legend. Morgan the Witch, huh? Yep, as far as I've been able to find, Morgan's ruled Fairy Britain for almost 2,000 years. There are 6 different fairy clans here. Wind, Earth, Fang, Mirror, Wing, and one other. They wage war with each other constantly for thousands of years until Morgan used evil magecraft to defeat them, subjugated half the clans through force, and united Britain. Afterwards, she gave the human of this world a limited degree of freedom, made them build a foundation for civilization, and develop this imitation society over the course of 2,000 years. Morgan, so even in this Lostbelt, she's still trying to... But no, I suppose I shouldn't say that. I'm sure this Morgan's different from the one we know. What exactly is her reign like? Since she calls her castle Camelot, does that mean she's fair and just like Arthur would be proud of? No, it's pretty horrible. She has pretty strict limits on the number of humans that can be born. She has rules the fairies of the Iron Fist. Every fairy that lives in the urban area is inscribed with curse, command spells as part of their specific duty. And every year, the fairies inscribed with these have forced to donate some vitality, magical energy basically. They call it the existence tax. Ah, so that's why they thought I had to pay her. Interesting. Any fairies who can't pay it, can't provide enough magical to satisfy her, killed then and there. Apparently, when she first took the throne, she told the fairies, I offer neither absolution nor salvation. I demand only obey without question or hesitation. Show me your fealty and words action, I shall keep Britain safe. Any fairy that can handle the state of affairs will become unable to work here. They're taken to Camelot and dealt with, or they escape the cities and run to lands no one else knows about. So that's why those fairies were there. At the same time, though, with how much they seem to turn on a dime. Such an oppressive regime is bound to spike opposition. But even so, Morgan maintained her iron grip for 2,000 years? Yep, which just goes to show how powerful she must be. She's taken half the soul of every fairy in Britain each year, and there's still no fairies able or willing to stand up to her. That said, there is some positive sides to her reign. Remember those black things we fought near the shore? The fairies call them Moors. They're one of the calamities that's been plaguing Fairy Britain since its inception. Occasionally, fairies that lose their purpose or their spark end up turning into those creatures. Moors are essentially the fairies' natural predators. So not giant beavers? Yes, that was a Final Fantasy XIV reference, shut up. Just touching was enough to infect a fairy, ultimately transforming them into... Are we sure those beavers aren't Moors themselves? It's kind of like a disease that only affects fairies. And the Moors aren't the only calamity Britain has to regularly contend with. There's lots of others that pop up on a regular basis. And Morgan's, the High Queen's army, is constantly fending them off. Morgan may be a cold and ruthless leader, but she's also the sword that keeps Britain safe. Fairies may fear and hate her, but they also depend on her for their very lives. That's the current state of Fairy Britain. So she's definitely the Lostbelt King, then. Yeah, that seems like a very safe assumption, which means she'd also have to be the one who used Rongominiad. That spell was so powerful it reached Olympus from here. No one else could have possibly cast it. Though, of course, that unfortunately also means Beryl Guts is involved with Morgan somehow. So I'd say that makes our chances of a peaceful negotiation with her basically nil. See, we have our own reasons for defeating her. Yep. Though we might have a hard time getting to Camelot since apparently no one can enter without her permission. That said, even Morgan's reign isn't perfect. In fact, there's new hope going around Britain right now. As luck would have it, we show up here at the exact right time, as things are indeed about to change. So what is this new hope? Well, they call him Luke Skywalker, the child of prophecy, specifically a child whose existence was prophesied to be the head of the now extinct Mirror Clan right before they disappeared. From what I heard, it went something like this. 16 years from now, a savior shall appear, guided by the staff of selection. The true king will take the throne. When the 6 bells ring out, the false queen will fall. Among fan humans, the savior will bring an end to this false history. So what do you think? Sounds vaguely familiar, right? Ah, they probably think, oh, that means that legend is actually talking about the end of the Lost Belt and the existence for these fairies, and they don't even realize it. They think it's supposed to save them. It saves a history, just not theirs. It's got credibility out the wazoo, too, since the Mirror Clan's prophecies have never once been wrong. The High Queen's been trying to prevent the inevitable by rounding up every fairy who turns 16 this year. But the fact that this prophecy hunt is still going on proves that she still hasn't caught them. I suppose it's only fitting she suffers a similar fate. In some version of Arthurian legends, that when Arthur learns he's going to be taken down by someone who was born in whatever date given, he has all the children rounded up and tries to get rid of them. Not all legends have it that way. Some have the other sources. Arthurian legend has so many different interpretations, but that's absolutely one of them, and I imagine it's no coincidence that's what's going on here. Suffice to say, between the Moors and the Child of Prophecy alone, the cracks are starting to show in the High Queen's reign. So if we play our cards right, we might be able to negotiate with Morgan after all. That said, finding Mash definitely comes first. For the time being, you should rest up and recover your strength. Then tomorrow, we can start gathering information, quietly and casually, of course, as to not arouse suspicion. Oh man, it feels like forever since I've last laid down on a soft bed. British Lostbelt and High Queen Morgan. Caster Saber, Oberon. The missing Mash. Wherever you are, please be safe. Okay, I think we could use some rest too. Servants might not need sleep, but it's tiring to be constantly watching for threats, right? I mean, you never took your fingers off your bowstrings once the entire time. Guess that's why you're Knight of the Round Table, huh? Just your noticing suggests I must need rest as well. But not just yet. But please, don't refrain from resting on my account, Da Vinci. Maybe a servant too, but you're also a being living in the here and now, just like the Master. So get some sleep. Don't worry, it's my duty to protect you as well as him. Gotcha. I guess I've expected the kind of consideration from Tristan, the Child of Sadness, and the most handsome knight of the Round Table. Okay, I'll take you up on that. Honestly, I was pretty beat. By all means, but first I have one request for you. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Before you fall asleep, I was hoping you could tell me about the Sixth Singularity. Specifically, I would like to hear about the version of me that was summoned there, and what I was doing in the holy city of Camelot. Oh, he's gonna be very sad about that. Long story short, all of the knights of the Round Table available there were antagonists in that storyline. The only ones who didn't were supposedly ones who didn't side with the Lion King's new idea. But the reality is they just didn't have models or sprites for any of those units, so they just found an excuse to write them out. Convenient. I've got golden apples for days, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get too tired to continue before I run out of stamina, so I'll just keep going until I get tired. Until I feel too tired, I mean. Good morning, everyone. Gosh, that bed was so comfortable. Glad to hear it. It makes all the trouble I went through to get the mattress just right worth it. Fairy beds are just imitations of real beds. The mattresses might well have been boulders before I adjusted them. I'm here as well. If you'd like, I'd be happy to play a song to help you all wake up. Morning, everyone. What are we waiting for? Whoa there, I'm glad you're fired up. Let's take it easy, okay? Yeah, none of the High Queen soldiers are here in Salisbury, but she definitely has sympathizers here. We need to play it cool and casual, okay? We're going out, Dubinchi. You're not gonna wait the tables with your beautiful roller skating today? Sorry, I'm off to do some sightseeing, but don't worry, I'll help out in the afternoon. Oh, alright, that was our deal, wasn't it? Tell you there, I don't know which clan you're from, but you better not tire Da Vinci out here. What's up, Al? Something on my mind? I was wondering what's up in the sky. Thinking the sky looks awfully similar to how it did yesterday. Yeah, I was surprised by that first too. With the weather here never changes. It has one sky pattern for day, one for night, that's it. It does supposedly rain here sometimes, but apparently it's always just cloudy. No blue skies. Blue skies? Britain skies turn blue sometimes? Oh yes. When there are no clouds in the sky, it becomes a beautiful shade of blue as far as I can see. Though that's not to say the skies aren't beautiful in their... These skies aren't beautiful in their right. Color is bluebells then. That's what your skies look like? Wow. Your world must be very bright and beautiful. The kind of place where everyone smiles and helps one another. How life gets. I wish. Start getting information then? Oh, I need to pretend to be the owner, right? Ooh, may also act like a big shot and go out one of the restaurants. You know they won't even let you into wood hoses without an attendant? Hey, as long as there are a lot of fairies there, I'm good with whatever. Okay, let's scope out place out while we pretend to be taking a walk. Also want to keep our ears peeled for any juicy rumors and we'll tell themselves time. Have you heard anything about Fairy and Iron Armor? You guys enjoying the High Queen's army? Don't bother, nothing good comes from joining them now. This is the year Ansel prophesied about, remember? Child prophecy will appear and bring salvation to all. Who knows, maybe the Queen will plan to cut us a break on our taxes if she takes a few lick for once. Huh, you're not looking joy, looking for a lost companion? Afraid we can't help you then. Iron armor? You won't find anything like that here, you have to go to Norwich for iron. They're still supposedly making those silly weapons up there, at least if Spriggan hasn't shut down the mine. A Spriggan is a type of fairy. What kind of weapons you say? What else? Swords, bows, axes, the usual. I swear I thought I'd see the day fairies would use irons of all things. What could the High Queen be thinking? Hmm. Yeah, cold iron is a weakness of fey creatures. It depends on the legend as to how deadly it is, but usually they can't touch it. Although I suppose a sword or spear... Well, a spear would have a handle. Well, it would only the tip that would be dangerous, and a sword obviously has a handle as well, so yeah, I guess that could work. Still, the Child of Prophecy should do something about all that. We just need to be patient a little longer. Hey, you guys heard about the latest about the Calamity Pool in Norwich? They say the sky is pitch black now, even during the daytime. There's no way they're gonna last much longer, not with a Calamity present. I mean, between all the iron, soot, noise, and humans there, they have no one to blame but themselves. Even so, I just can't help but worry. I mean, what are we gonna do if Norwich refugees decide to come here? There's so much history here, we have too many Earth Clan fairies as it is. Okay, so they copied human culture, including copying human racism. Huh. The Lady Aurora is so kind, I can't imagine her turning them away. Looking for something? Are you searching Salisbury or all Britain? Ah, if it's all Britain, these fairies here aren't gonna be much help. It's so nice here in Salisbury that nobody ever wants to leave. Going what's going on in other cities, I'll have to visit. Oh, but you don't have wings, do you? Well, that rules that out. If the Moors get you, it's all over. I wonder what tonight's festival is going to be about. I hope it's another play about the Child of Prophecy and Evil Witch. I love the part where the High Queen and her dog knight gets what's coming to them. Given they seem to have anthropomorphic fairies, I'm willing to guess the dog knight is literal. Worn out. Fed up. Dejected. Not so much luck today, huh? I mean, I wasn't expecting to find a solid lead in just one day, but all anyone wanted to talk about was the Child of Prophecy. They barely even listened to what we had to say. Indeed, that last fairy even tried to get us to buy some questionable merchandise. I haven't seen the whole city so feverishly excited about something other than Christmas. Child of Prophecy craze. Now there's a lot of money to be made there. I wonder who this child of prophecy could be anyway. Yeah, the only other thing the fairies want to talk about, the child of prophecy, we're going about Norwich, the eastern port town. Gotta say, it's made me curious about the child of prophecy. I wonder what kind of fairy they are, if they really are. Or planning to fight Morgan, maybe we can convince them to help us. What do you think? Should we try looking for this child of prophecy as well as match? Any fairy who could get the other fairies excited must be very strong and brave. Good day, everyone. I'm back again. Oh, not as many customers I see. Over here, Oberon. Hey there, having a little lunch after your morning walk around the city, huh? Anyway, it looks like you're all having fun. Hope you don't mind if I join you. I'm a passable fighter at best, but I'm a master of killing with compliments. Much more peaceful that way. Here, I'll show you. Before long, I'll be heaping so much praise and altruism, she'll be begging for mercy. Why her, though? You haven't told them yet, Altria? Child of prophecy everyone is going on about? That's her. I assumed you knew since she's got King Arthur's name and all. Yeah, I'm honestly kind of surprised no one else figured that out. I mean, yeah, the thought did cross my mind once when I heard you were named Altria. I call BS on that, Da Vinci. You are absolutely not thinking that and just want to save face now. But still you? Really? I mean, let's be real, you have less magical energy than most fairies, right? Might have better magical circuits than a human, well, since you're a fairy and all, since I guess they'd be Age of Gods patterns. And they're still below average for a fairy, though. Hell, even Mike there must be stronger than you. How can you be a child prophecy meant to defeat the High Queen? That's what the kids these days would call a mood. I have no idea how I'm supposed to do it either, after all. I know, you're right. It doesn't make sense, does it? I'm sorry. I know it's not right that someone like me is carrying staff selection. Still, it's not like we know for certain I'm child prophecy. I mean, there's a chance I might not be. Besides, I don't really have the guts to fight the High Queen, or the drive, or determination. I don't belong in any of the clans either, and I have social magical energy. I have to fudge it with magecraft. I can't even get close to the bells I'm supposed to ring. I mean, I do plan the best, do the best I can in spite of all that, but let's just say it's a very uphill battle. Honestly, I don't even know why I was chosen. You don't think you can do this, do you? I don't know. All I can say is if I really am the child of prophecy, there has to be some way for me to fight. It's why I was born and how I was raised. Who am I kidding? I'm completely hopeless. Last time I came to Salisbury was to meet with the head of the Wind Clan, but I ended up trying Manchester next because nobody there would even give me the time of day. See, so that's why you didn't say anything sooner. Fairies can sense how much magical energy you have at a glance. I'm sure they only laughed when you told them you were a child of prophecy. They probably scolded you something fierce. They did. So I thought I'd start by convincing the head of the clan who I was. They turned me away at the gate. Head of the Wind Clan, huh? That must be Aurora. Personally, I think you're pretty great as you are now, but I can see why you'd feel the need to boost your prestige. Well, if that's the only problem, I can take care of that right now. What do you mean by that, Oberon? I mean, I can get you a meeting with Aurora if you want. Ah, he did say became known for being a king of some place they never heard of. There, see how easy we got in? Take a look. This is the Hall of Salisbury and home to its great bell. Ask Cathedral, the oldest and largest building in all of Fairy Britain. Now then, Aurora's room on the top floor, so what do you say we start heading up? I sent word of our arrival, so we shouldn't have any trouble with the guard. Oh, hold up. Good day, King of the Autumn Woods. Your visit is sudden and unexpected, but we welcome you here all the same. However, it seems I must remind you this is Cathedral's holy ground where kings and queens are made. The esteemed site of High Queen Morgan's coronation 2,000 years ago. Ah, so it does have ceremonial value, even if not religious value. Interesting. As such, regardless of how much affection Lady Aurora may have for you, I cannot allow such lowly creatures as humans to enter. Attendance is not. Guards to me, capture these unidentified fairies and that disgusting human. The human submits very well, however, should be attempted to flee, dispose them. That goes for Oberon too, of course. You needn't show him any leniency. We've seen complaints about him from pubs, demanding he pay his tabs. Oh my, this isn't how I expected things to go. Oberon! If those are your orders, Lady Coral will gladly comply, but, are you sure about this? Lady Aurora told us to let him visit through right away. She seemed thrilled about the visit. Don't talk back to me. You may have chosen to be guards, but you're still humans. Know your place. Unless, of course, you'd rather be turned to rabbits so you don't have to be humans anymore. No, my lady, I'm very sorry about the sword, Oberon. It really is nothing personal. It seems we have no choice but to do battle, even if our hearts clearly aren't in it. Come, let us show them how strong we truly are. Actually, I just need to change hers. I really need to redo my CEs. Alright, yeah, get our Bond CE in here. It's actually quite good. Especially for the setup, since the setup I'm using has, in fact, a quick user on it. Mm.
お待たせしたな。それはすまない。にゃんにゃにゃ
そうか。
よっと。味の
ご承覧あれってな。
味の
Yeah, he did a lot of good damage to them. We should be able to do this in a non-fatal fashion.
マニュアルは
But that doesn't mean we have to hold back.
オーダー入りますよっと下がっているようにそういうわけで皆の役だ最初に送るやつに七に来る
Stella, hello Panda, welcome to the stream. Yep, I'm still using my usual, well, this will just handle just about every group of enemies team. You see that, Coral? See what the Master and I are capable of? This is what happens when we look down on people for being human or having no money. Probably not a good time to point out Oberon was just standing behind them, cheering. Love Morgan. Yeah, Morgan's a legitimately popular character. Can't wait to meet her in the story to see what's so popular about her, but I'm sure I'll find out in due time. I will say I already like Oberon a lot, though. But he's been on my summon list for a while now, so rest assured I'll be going for him. And since we have the pity rate now, woohoo! Very well, it would seem the human is indeed not your typical expendable worker. And Lady Aurora does love rare and unusual things, part of what makes her so strong. Just this once, alright, I'll grant you an audience with her, but don't let things go to your head. Rare and unusual things are only interesting the first time you see them. Once the novelty wears off, they become worthless. If I were you, I would try to make the most of this good fortune, as there won't be many other such chances in the future. Yeah, you don't want to waste a fairy whimsy that's positive, but at the same time, well, we shouldn't be pushing it too much in general. Hello, Oberon. What a delightful story. What delightful story do you have for me today? You know, so many very special things. I'm sure it must be something very special. Whatever it is, I can't wait to hear it. I could use some cheer after the unfortunate news recently. I think it was possible to go blind from sheer splendor until today. Honestly, most of Avalon Fae reminds me of Kingdom Hearts. Honestly, the Fate series as a whole could easily remind someone of Kingdom Hearts or Destiny or some other franchise that's famous for being overly complicated. There's a reason I always warn people just how, well, there's a reason the fan base likes to say that's hell you're walking into if someone's gonna get into it. Why, yes, I have two things for you today. One is something you absolutely must know. The other is the quest for a small favor. But don't worry, I won't take up much of your time at all. That said, can I first make a somewhat selfish request? See, I'd like to keep on about to tell you a secret. You don't mind keeping secrets, do Oh my, you are a naughty one, aren't you? I don't usually care for scary stories, but a little thrill sounds like fun. Would you give some privacy, Coral? Yes, Lady Aurora. That's alright, I know we can trust them. It's only right answer and kind. As you wish, but please don't hesitate to call for me if you change your mind. You'll have to forgive Coral. She's a very proud girl and very inflexible. Probably gave you a harsh welcome, didn't she? I'm just glad to see you aren't hurt. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, friends of Oberon. I'm Aurora, head of the Wind Clan and the Lord of Salisbury. Now, why did you come to tell me today? Well, I guess it's no surprise the whole mood just changed. Figure she didn't become the head of the clan through beauty alone. Well, you see, there's a stranded friend of ours we've been unable to find. Oh my, oh my, oh my. How many years have been since a human spoke frankly? How delightfully different. What's your name? Are you a free citizen? Pedigree? Oh, sorry, you already serve the five-young fairy there, don't you? Oh goodness, how rude of me. Really, Aurora, you must do something about your tendency taking every stray human you find. Otherwise, you'll eventually have every human in Britain living in Salisbury. I'm sure you don't need any more resistance from your fellow clan members, seeing as how you're the only one who favors coexistence. Yes, yes, you know. I know, you're right, of course. When I saw those big puppy eyes begging for help, I couldn't resist. Good grief. Well, this is exactly why I brought him to help you to begin with. Brought him to you to begin with. Remember what I told you before about Chaldea and this other world called proper human history? The boy here is the master of Chaldea, and the two with him are actually servants, not fairies. Oberon? Don't worry, it's okay. Aurora may be from Fairy Britain, but she thinks a lot like the fairies of proper human history. And while she'd never come out and say it, she's not happy with the state of things in Britain either, right? It's been 2,000 years now since Britain fell into Morgan's hands, and you've been here watching it unfold every step of the way. You think it's time for Morgan's reign to end, no matter what form that takes. I remember how your eyes sparkled with hope when I told you about the outside world. Master here came to Britain solely to defeat Morgan. He's not thinking about what happens afterwards. Suffice to say, he also has no intention of ruling in Morgan's place once she's gone. Once the Chaldeans leave, whether Britain lives or dies will be for you and your fellow fairies to decide. Chaldea's not going to care if you try and save what's left of it. They'll gladly stay out of your way. Morgans are only concerned, nothing more. So it would seem. Well, the girl in the back doesn't seem very happy. Well, that girl in the back doesn't seem very happy that you're telling me this, and the boy here isn't denying anything you say. So you're travelers from another world, a Britain that went down the right path. It's hard to believe, but maybe this too is Ansel's guidance at work. Either way, one thing is clear: since we both have our own troubles, it's only right we help one another. Alex, was it? Master, was it? You have my permission to act in Salisbury as you see fit, even if your action should be in opposition to the land of the Fae. If you're looking for a lost companion, I'll lend you the eyes of my fellow Wind Fays in the other cities. I can't contact my compatriots in Northwich at the moment, but I will have my Wind Fairies in Oxford, Gloucester, Darlington, Camelot help your search. You need only tell Cora what your companion looks like. I hope my clan can be of assistance. Oh, that's great, but are you sure it's okay? You mean for me to help Chaldea? I see you're both kind and honest. True, as this isn't a fairy Britain, perhaps it is wrong of me to help you. Honestly, most of Avalon... Oh, whoops, I read that. Sorry. I'm trying to make sure we have the story, but I also don't want to neglect chat, because I want to keep up with it. More concerned about us Fae folks' way of life than I am retaining the land itself. The High Queen's a great one, certainly, but the path we are on now will not lead us anywhere good. All that said, I'd still like to keep this relationship of ours on the down low for the time being. After all, you are the head of a clan. If Morgan were to find out you sided with Chaldea in proper human history, she may have the entire Wind clan killed. So this collaboration, we kept quiet so we can deny knowing anything we know about each other should come to that. All the Wind Fairy's dead. So not even you could defeat High Queen Morgan if you faced her directly? Oh no, I couldn't. She would wipe us all out with one click of her finger. I see. Gosh, she really is something, isn't she? Oh yes, she's a very special fairy. The only one who could hope to defeat her is the child of prophecy from Ansel's last prediction. Too bad this child has yet to reveal themselves. I hope they come save us as soon as possible. Devious smile. He's gonna do it. He's really gonna do it. Alright, you are. I may very well like to meet. I'm. Alright, you. I may very well be about to meet you. Make your day. There's someone like you to meet. Oh, what are you doing? Stop, stop. It's alright. None. I'll tell you, there's none than the Star of Hope who hails from Tintagel. Is that how it's pronounced? Tintagel? Yes. Born alongside the staff of selection, they'll bring Morgan justice. She's the one and only. Go on now, don't be shy. Oberon! Shoved him. Morgan... Morgan's probably going to be an interesting character, but I'm definitely liking Oberon a lot so far. You do have such delightful friends, Oberon. I'd love to be tackled to the ground like that myself sometime. Why, thank you. I can't say I expected such a direct method of silencing me, either. Still, Ultra would never say anything if I hadn't put her on the spot like that. She's kind of a late bloomer, you see. She's still not confident about it. So we're hoping you might be able to offer some seal of approval. Maybe ring one of the bells you mentioned in the prophecy? Wow, even I wouldn't have come up with that. Impressive. No, I'm afraid I can't allow. While there is indeed a bell said to be the voice of the Wind Clan right above this room, I can only let her ring it once she has proven herself to me. Words alone do not suffice. She will have to demonstrate her abilities so there can be no question. You said her name is Altria, yes? It seems you do indeed have the Staff of Selection. I don't understand what this staff truly means. There is only the only one who does Ansel, head of the Mirror Clan, and no one's seen any member for years. All I can do is see for myself whether you have the makings of a king. And how exactly do you propose we do that? What a lovely voice. I thought you may be mute. Very well, then, out of respect for these tones, I shall tell you my conditions. I would like you two to show me there's still hope for our world. My best test is to see if Britain can still be changed. As you know, there are fairies plagued by a dark fate. Every 100 years, a calamity, a curse that not even Morgan herself can dispel. The last few months, there's been a powerful Moors current winding its way through Norwich, a calamity pool. If you two can rid Norwich of this calamity, I will gladly give you access to Salisbury's Bell. Is that up here, or is it somewhere else? Oh, they said it's a port town. Ah, it's probably here then. Yeah, that is a lot of smoke there. Alrighty. We now have our next goal. So she wants us to get rid of the calamity in Norwich, huh? I didn't think she'd be the one to bring it up. What is the calamity in Norwich exactly? I don't know much about these calamities either, since I've never seen one for myself, but I have heard plenty of stories. Apparently, they're a kind of natural disaster that befalls Fairy Britain every 100 years. I've heard about these calamities too, and I've also told the Master about them. Norwich is a port town in eastern Britain. Apparently, it's been showing signs it'll be the home of the next one for a few months now. They say there's a ton of black soot raised in the air, gathered above the rain clouds. Aurora said she'll permit us to ring the bell as long as we can resolve this calamity, correct? So we disperse the clouds of soot, huh? Unfortunately, I've never learned magecraft that could do that. That's okay. Norwich is a tall enough order. I think we can forget about it for the time being. Right now, our top priority should be finding MASH. And now that Aurora's helping us do that, we should receive some word in a few days. All you guys need to do is wait until the end. Then again, doing nothing might not be the best use of our time, huh? Okay, I'll send you a list of things you can do to earn money and gather information later then. Are you going off on your own again? Well, I thought about what Coral said, and it's probably worth paying those tabs before I start racking up more. That'll be all for now. See you all in 3 days. Well, at least he has some level of responsibility. Although, whether or not he's telling the truth is, that should get them to rest up in the Salisbury a little more. Meanwhile, I've got my work cut out for me. First, I need to go find out what's going on in Norwich. Welcome back, Blanca. How's the street up north? How fair? Or the Notterall? I have no idea how that's pronounced. The Narab's forces advanced. Another child of prophecy has shown up there? I definitely wasn't expecting that. Ansel didn't say anything about there being two in prophecy. In that case, it might be a false one. This puts Altria in an even more precarious position. I thought I'd have more time. Yes, of course, she's the real child of prophecy. That much was never in doubt. But it won't matter who the real one is. What matters is who the fairies believe the real one is. Still, it's not all bad. Let's focus on the silver lining. A false child of prophecy in the north is bound to draw Morgan's attention, which means the two here should be safe for now. That'll give me time to ensure they go stronger. They're not ready for Norwich. They need experienced Britain for themselves and to gain the power to adapt and conquer its challenges. Do we really have time for that, you say? Oh, you're such a tough crowd, aren't you, Blanca? What do you mean, stop repeating everything you say? If I don't, the player won't know what you're saying. But you have to take your time with the opening act. That's for us. That's how it was for us first too, remember? Still thinking about that meeting? Oh no, I'm fine. I'm just nervous since I'm not used to speaking with the head of an entire clan. Sorry, I've got a lot in my mind. I'm just going to go turn in for the night. Let us meet up here again tomorrow morning. Bye for now. Looks like we'll have to readjust our perceptions of her too. Come on, let's head back to our room. We should head to our next... Think about our next moves while we still have time. Okay, that's everything that's happened so far. A nice tidy report. It's all yours now, Tifone. Take it away, my little familiar. There, that takes our report back to Stormborder. We should hear back from them in about 2 days. Now, let's go over everything we've learned so far. Our main topic isn't Morgan right now, but the Child of Prophecy is supposedly going to defeat her, correct? Truth is, we've been dropping our guard around here a little too much. At first, we thought it was just a coincidence she shared a name with King Arthur and didn't think about further, but now we can say for certain she is the Lostbelt's King Arthur. Sure, I don't need to remind you two that has already confronted legends about King Arthur and the Sixth Singularity. Honestly, I genuinely think the Lion King was harder than Gawain. And that's... yeah, Gawain required a lot of prep time to properly handle, but once you have him done, it's just a matter of surviving. It's a lot more difficult to do that against the Lion King because they have Invuln Pierce. You have to burst him down, and that's really hard at that point in the game for most. But I think it's worth our time to quickly refresh our memory of those legends just so that we're all on the same page. The legend of King Arthur takes place in the 5th century, a time when Britain was in great turmoil. It began with the collapse of the Continental Empire, with the Empire no longer keeping Britain safe. It came under frequent attack by the Saxons, a foreign enemy across the sea to attack British shores. At the time, Britain was an island nation ruled by many different clans, and those clans' kings. While there were always constant squabbles between them, there was also war with the picks up north, where the clans' kings agreed to work together. One king carried an irreparable rift in office. One king carried an irreparable rift in the alliance. He used the other clans for his own ends with the goals of ultimately uniting Britain. His name was Vortigern. He was said to be the avatar of the White Dragon, born from Britain itself. A White Dragon born from Britain itself, made to bring it to ruin. He invited the Saxons to the Isle, throwing it into chaos. Londinium, the fortress city that serves the heart of Britain in the Empire's reign, was destroyed. Vortigern then defeated and killed Uther Pendragon, the greatest king of all Britain. And so Britain entered a dark age, a time when none on the island could escape imminent destruction. However, hope still remained. King Uther's most trusted aide, Merlin, the great mage who had long kept Britain safe, told people this too was all part of a prophecy. King Uther has already chosen his successor. They shall be the next king. Whoever draws the sword of selection from the stone shall be Britain's king. Many knights tried their hand, but none succeeded. It was only once the knights had left, convinced the sword selection was no more than delusion. A young squire of 15, a boy who'd been raised without ever knowing he was King Uther's son, came and drew the sword from the stone, with none there to bear witness. Are we going to get a story focused a bit more on Uther this time around? Well, most of Arthurian legend focuses on, of course, Arthur. Uther himself actually does have quite a bit of backstory to himself as well. That sword was Caliburn. That boy did go on, indeed. He'd go on to become the King of Britain. Arthur Pendragon, King among Knights, or as we know her, Altoria Pendragon. After announcing himself as King Uther's successor, King Arthur assembled the lords of Britain and led them to 12 magnificent victories against the Saxons. In doing so, he proved himself an invincible king, the undefeated King of the Knights. But unbeknownst to him, the Saxons weren't his only enemy, the greatest threat the King of Knights faced within his own family. Vortigern, the avatar of the White Dragon who defeated King Arthur's father and brought Britain to its knees. Morgan, the fairy queen who declared it was Britain's very will that she become its ruler. Morgan's machinations succeeded in robbing the King of Knights of Caliburn, but the fairies gave him an even greater sword. Vivian, the Lady of the Lake, gave Excalibur, a sacred sword forged within the planet's inner sea. Yeah, while Excalibur's a big deal in Arthurian legend, it's an even bigger one in Fate, since it's basically one of the most powerful weapons, period. It's so powerful it has a regular amount of seals on it to seal away its power, and its at max is basically whatever the plot requires. In a world of magecraft, it's considered a divine construct, an ultimate weapon meant to destroy that which threatens the very planet. Whee, kaboom, indeed. In laying claim to this sacred sword, King Arthur became Britain's savior in both name and deed. After a climatic battle with Vortigern in the ruins of Londinium, King Arthur, with the help of the fairies, built the towering white castle of Camelot. Lords from across the isle came Camelot to serve the King of Knights. They became the Knights of the Round Table, while all were treated as equals. It's a bit odd telling the story with Tristan here, but this is indeed how the Knights were formed. Lancelot, the knight from France, blessed by the Lady of the Lake. I believe he was a later addition, technically a later addition to the legend. Gawain, the heir of Orc, blessed by the sun. Tristan, nephew to the Duke of Cornwall and the Prince of Tragedy. You are also said to be the symbol of the Romantic period. That's right, those are the proud Knights of the Round Table, my cherished friends who filled its 13 seats. For the record, the number of seats in the Round Table varies from legend to legend. In some, it's a smaller number like the 13 claimed here. In some, it can be as high as 150. That's a lot of knights. Sturdy Percival, clever Kay, loyal Bedivere, earnest Gyrus, kind-hearted Gareth, Agravan the Enforcer, Palmades the Duelist, taciturn Mordred, and the greatest knight of all, chosen by the Holy Grail, Galahad the Revelation, an even later addition than Lancelot. Why did I say Tristan? It was Lancelot. In addition to King Arthur, the first seat, you could also count King Pellinore, King Arthur's trusted advisor, and Bors, the future 11th seat, for 15 in total. At any rate, those were the Knights of the Round Table I knew when they were at their peak. For the record, Sir Bors is famously the one that was killed by the killer rabbit in Monty Python, the Holy Grail. I believe Tristan's interlude in this game even references it. Because, frankly, Monty Python, the Holy Grail might as well be part of Arthurian legend at this point for how much it's referenced. Seriously, even Sonic and the Black Knights referenced it. Yeah, the Knights of the Round Table's peak is also the happiest time in the legend of King Arthur. While other problems would present themselves in the quest for the Holy Grail, in the decisive battle against the Picts and Saxons, it was the affair between Lancelot and Guinevere, King Arthur's queen, that changed things forever. Once their affair came to light, the Knights of the Round became shadows of their former selves. During an expedition to the Roman Empire, Mordred took advantage of King Arthur's absence and staged a rebellion. That was the beginning of what would later be known as King Arthur's final battle, the Battle of Camelon. It was this battle that King Arthur drew his final breath. Bedivere personally returned the sacred sword to the fairies, and the final chapter of ancient Britain's history was concluded. After that, King Arthur's body was brought to Avalon, the paradise at world end, by the fairies of the lake, as the future king would one day return to life. And that's a quick and dirty version. Thanks for listening. Oh wow, it's already nighttime. So with all that in mind, let's get back to the British Lostbelt here. Proper human history, King Arthur drew the Sword of Selection while still an unknown boy. Amidst hope, envy, admiration, and prejudice of the knights, ascended the throne as king. Meanwhile here, Altria may be unknown and unrecognized, but even so, she wields the Staff of Selection, and she was traveling across Britain on her own as a child of prophecy. So she has the same name, face, and destiny. No way that can be a coincidence. Which means Castoria is this world's King Arthur. She's destined to be Britain's savior. But why now? King Arthur saved Britain in the 5th century, but this is 2019. If she really is Britain's savior, shouldn't she have known the distance past? That's the question, isn't it? I'm not sure why her story is taking place right now either, but I did overhear one interesting thing from local fairies. Apparently, the Child of Prophecy is the reincarnation of Ace the Savior, who was sent to save Britain once again. As in the World Tree from Norse mythology. Yep, or at least that's the same name. See, once Morgan began ruling Britain, she officially named this period time the Era of the High Queen, and the timing matches up with exactly when proper human history swapped to AD. While proper human history stopped in the year 20 AD, in this world, it's of the Era of the High Queen is still unfolding. In that previous area, aka BC, or BCE in proper human history terms, is called the Fey Era. Furthermore, during the Fey Era, there's apparently a fairy who saved Britain from calamities countless times. Ace the Savior. Apparently, there are only a few fairies left who still remember her. Ector the Immortal, Grand Duke's Waste Heat Werenek, Grimoire the Sage, and Totoro, the First Knight. They still speak of her legend in hushed tones. So if a savior showed up in this world before, that may mean Fairy Britain has a system for such things, something akin to the counterforce that the Isle itself uses to fight back when Britain's in danger. If that's true, that would explain why Altria is only born now in this time. Plus, we're going up against High Queen Morgan here. Who else but King Arthur could face her? I wonder if Morgan's really still a bad guy in this Lostbelt. Anyway, that took longer than I expected, but now we've gone over everything, I'm going to make 2 suggestions. First, we should continue working with Castoria. While we don't necessarily have to destroy this Lostbelt, it does seem pretty clear we'll need to face High Queen Morgan at some point. And when we do, having a Child of Prophecy on our side can only work to our advantage. Second, I think we should keep our goal, including Chaldea's ordeal, to ourselves. It's fine to tell her proper human history. Hell, it'd be impossible to communicate if we didn't. But we shouldn't reveal we've eliminated the 5 other Lostbelts to date. I know it's not the most honest move, but sometimes not laying your cards on the table is the way to go. Like I said before, there's something strange about this world, even for a Lostbelt, and there's still way too much we don't know. So until we have a much better understanding of what's going on here, I want to keep our goal at stopping Britain from disappearing. Even if we had to eventually end up fighting it after saving it. So we're going to keep all this from Castoria is what you're getting at. That's right. I'm sorry, Master. I know that won't be easy for you. But for what it's worth, my intuition telling me things aren't going to come to that. I have a feeling we're going to save Britain, stop this collapse from destroying our world, and go our separate ways with a smile without ever having to do battle with Britain. Ooh, I'm exhausted. My throat is absolutely, parched. So, I guess for now I should probably think about calling the stream. It's like someone else is doing, on my list is doing Arknights right now. But, let's see here. There's also someone I haven't streamed in a while, haven't raided in a while that might be a better option, so I'll go ahead and do that. Alright. That's a reading. Oh yeah. Next time I'm definitely bringing a full water bottle, and I'm also going to... Yeah. We're only in section 3, but it's been almost 4 hours of pure... So many Saint Quartz? Yeah, on a pure free-to-play budget, I absolutely have to manage my quartz here. And as a note, I spent about 850 to get another copy of my, How am I forgetting her name? A recent favorite. Her. Yeah, here we are, Vitra. Don't ask why, I've gotten to like Vitra quite a bit more lately. But yeah, I guess the fact I can't remember a name of my actual, one of my favorite servants in the game probably shows that I'm half asleep right now, huh? Alright, that's fine. I still need to get her more MP levels, but the important thing was I absolutely wanted to get her to NP2 because now she's finally stronger than my budget alternatives. So that's fun. I was really tempted to go with Miss Crane, but I've already got projects this year that I can't afford to miss, and obviously I'm budgeting my Saint Quartz, assuming I do have to go to the 900 Quartz pity rate, so I need to be prepared for anything, including Oberon, of course. So who knows, I'm gonna take my time with this since, well, the story is not going anywhere. Alright, let's see here. I haven't done Dice Wolf in a while, so it looks like he's doing Diablo here. Alright, Diablo 4. It's not my kind of game, so I'll just go ahead. But I'll go ahead and raid him if anyone's interested. But for my stream, that's going to be all for tonight. Until next time, thank you for watching, hope you had a good time, and I'll see you later.